Chapter 1905. Hu Chunhua's heart sank. Without young Master Huang, she would lose her income and support. Could it be that her little Hui would not be able to return to the Huang family? What should she do? It wasn't easy for her daughter to marry into a good husband's family, but now it seemed that her hopes were dashed. How could such a thing happen to her after she got married? It was impossible for Zhao Xinhui to continue staying in her maiden home. Not to mention, she had to serve her all day long. If she didn't go to the Huang family, where would Zhao Xinhui get money? She couldn't possibly spend the rest of her life with that little bit of money. Seeing Hu Chunhua's ugly smile, Zhao Xinhui was a little angry. "Mother, what do you mean by this? Do you not want me to stay at home? At worst, I'll just move out." Hu Chunhua quickly waved her hand. No, little Hui, mother didn't mean anything. Don't think too much. How can you move out with your body like this? You have to recuperate well at home. Mother still has to make good food for you. Zhao Xinhui sneered and replied, "Mother, since that's the case, then shut up. Don't talk so much. Aren't you afraid of annoying people to death with your nagging?" Hu Chunhua sighed and could only agree. Okay. Mother will listen to you, okay? I won't say any more. After Hu Chunhua finished speaking, she left Zhao Xinhui's room. However, her face was still full of worry. The good life that she had been looking forward to, was it going to return to its original state? She was used to living a good life. If she had to live a hard life again, she couldn't bear it. No, she had to think of a good way. Otherwise, what could she do if this continued? Zhao Baoshan noticed that Hu Chunhua had been sighing non-stop after coming out of Zhao Xinhui's room, as if she had encountered something. He asked impatiently, "I say, what's wrong with you, old woman?" She kept sighing as if she had encountered a huge problem. Could she not be like this? Just listening to your voice makes me annoyed. Hu Chunhua put on a bitter face and said to Zhao Baoshan with an aggrieved look, "Old man, what are you talking about?" "I'm just worried." Zhao Baoshan snorted. "You're worried? Tell me, what are you worried about?" Hu Chunhua pursed her lips. "Old man, sigh, aren't you worried about Hui, Hearing Hu Chunhua mention Zhao Xinhui, Zhao Baoshan replied disdainfully, "He's just a little injured. He'll be fine after resting for a while." Hu Chunhua continued to sigh, "Hey, old man, that's not what I'm worried about." Zhao Baoshan replied impatiently, "Can't you just say it in one breath? You're going to stop here and there. I don't even know what you want to say." Hu Chunhua thought for a while. She couldn't confide in others. If she didn't tell Zhao Baoshan, she would have no one to talk to. After hesitating for a while, she said to Zhao Baoshan, "Old man, it was Lord Huang who kicked Hui out of our house. She can't go back to the Huang family's house anymore. It's all because of his vicious wife. She said that Hui had an affair with another man and got pregnant." Hearing Hu Chunhua's words, Zhao Baoshan sat on the bed and took a long drag of his pipe without saying a word. Chapter 1906. Zhao Baoshan didn't care. What should we do? What can we do? Let's just do it. It's not a big deal. Anyway, she wasn't married before, and she didn't expect to be married at that time. Now, she can go back to her mother's house and live there for the rest of her life. Besides, we were poor before, so we probably didn't have enough money to support Hui. Now, the money that Hui brought back from the Huang family's house is enough for us to live in luxury for the rest of our lives. There's nothing to worry about. Hu Chunhua felt that Zhao Baoshan's words were somewhat reasonable. Zhao Xinhui's marriage was grand at that time, and Lord Huang was such a rich man. Everyone in the village was envious of her. If people knew that Zhao Xinhui was chased back to her mother's house not long after she got married, many people in the village would laugh at her. She was also a person who cared about her reputation. She couldn't stand others laughing at her. Every time she thought of that kind of feeling, she felt very upset. Alas! Hu Chunhua sighed heavily. She looked very sad. Zhao Baoshan couldn't stand Hu Chunhua's behavior, so he put down his tobacco pipe. Stop sighing. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to talk to you anymore. I'm going to sleep now. Zhao Baoshan said, then took off his clothes and went to bed directly. He fell into a deep sleep the moment his head hit the pillow. Hu Chunhua's mind was filled with those bad emotions, so she couldn't fall asleep even in the middle of the night. Zhao Yun's family didn't have much work to do these days. They just took care of the paddy field. After it rained for many days, the paddy field was full of water. Many seedlings were submerged. Previously, they wanted to fill the paddy field with water, but now, they were busy draining the paddy field. However, they got a lot of good things while draining the paddy field. After the heavy rain, the paddy field was filled with loaches, eels, crabs, fish, and shrimps. In addition, Zhao Wenshui caught 2 big turtles and brought them over. These things were packed into a small bucket. In the countryside, fish and shrimp were not considered good food. Compared to fish, everyone preferred to eat pork. After all, fish did not have much oil. Only pork had enough oil. As for Old Turtle, Zhao Wenshui originally planned to catch it for his 2 children to play with. In the countryside, no one would eat this thing. Its shell was especially hard, and the villagers felt that it was not something that could be eaten. It was even thought to be poisonous, so under normal circumstances, no one would touch it. However, when Zhao Wenshui brought it back, Zhao Yun'er treated it like a treasure. Thinking about it, ancient people were really interesting. In the 21st century, people in ancient times were too lazy to eat things that everyone thought were good. For example, in the 21st century, all kinds of wild vegetables could not be bought with money. Those wild vegetables could only be eaten by people in the countryside. As for wild fish and old turtles, they were even rarer. In the 21st century, the ones sold in the world were basically all artificially bred, so Dao Qiring couldn't compare to wild ones. Wild old turtles were very nourishing things. When stewed into a soup, it tasted delicious, much better than pork rib soup and chicken soup. Now, she could stew the old turtle and give it to Liang Jinxiao and her family to nourish their bodies. It was also very beneficial for old people like old lady Liang to eat. When Zhao Wenhua saw that Zhao Yun'er wanted to eat the old turtle, he asked with a puzzled expression, "Yun'er, do you think this thing is really edible? How can such a big shell be eaten?" Chapter 1907. Father, it's edible. It's just that you don't know how to handle it and how to make it delicious. You think it's inedible because you haven't tried it before. This thing tastes better than an old hen. Of course, if you don't handle it well, it won't taste good. After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Zhao Wenhua nodded. He knew that Zhao Yun had a lot of ideas. Wasn't Yun the one who made all the delicious food at home? Thinking of the pig offal that Zhao Yun had made in the past, Zhao Yunlong was still sighing. It was difficult for others to sell it for a single copper coin, but in Zhao Yun'er's hands, it could be made into delicious food. Alright, Yun'er, make it and try it. If it tastes good, I'll go to the fields to catch more. This thing isn't rare in our fields. You can catch it casually. Zhao Yun'er responded. Zhao Yun'er carefully cleaned the things that she caught. She could eat them directly without going to Yang City to buy good things. If they were in the 21st century, who knew how much money they would have to spend to buy so many good things? Zhao Yun handled the old turtle. Although it was a little troublesome, Zhao Yun'er swallowed her saliva when she thought about the taste of the old turtle soup. She worked harder. Soon, Zhao Yun'er finished handling the things that Zhao Wenhua brought back. She also put the old turtle into the pot and started cooking. After putting in the seasoning, Zhao Yun'er added wood and water in the stove and started cooking. She didn't put too much water in the pot. She was afraid that too much water would dilute the taste. When the time came, it would be enough for everyone at home to drink 1 or 2 bowls. Zhao Wenhua could just catch more and stew it a few more times. Mother, I'll go get some wild vegetables. Zhao Yun called out. In addition to meat dishes, Zhao Yun planned to make a few vegetarian dishes. Previously, she saw that the wild vegetables at the foot of the mountain were growing well. Now, she wanted to pick some and cook them. After the rain, the wild vegetables had grown even more. However, not long after Zhao Yuner left, Hu Chunhua arrived at Zhao Yuner's house. During this period of time, Zhao Xinhui had been recuperating at home and had eaten a lot of good food. A few of the hens that he had raised had been eaten. If he continued to eat hens that could not lay eggs, he would have to buy more eggs when he returned. Therefore, Hu Chunhua reserved 2 or 3 for laying eggs. However, Zhao Xinhui would feel suffocated if he didn't eat good food for a day. He kept saying that he wanted to eat good food. Thinking about the injuries on Zhao Xinhui's body, Hu Chunhua felt that she really couldn't treat Zhao Xinhui shabbily. She couldn't be bothered to go to Yang City. After a long time, she came to the 3rd branch to see if she could get some good food from them. Therefore, she came over now. The moment she walked into Zhao Yuner's courtyard, Hu Chunhua shouted at the top of her lungs, "Third brother's wife. Mother, what's wrong?" Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao both walked out. Usually, Hu Chunhua rarely came to the 3rd branch's courtyard. This time, she suddenly came over, so Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao thought that something had happened. Hu Chunhua said, "It's nothing. I just came to ask you for 2 hens. Don't you have some at home? Hui is injured, so she needs to eat good food to nourish her body. My family's chickens are almost finished, so I thought that the 3rd branch would have some." From Hu Chunhua's tone and attitude, it seemed like she wanted to take it for free. The 3rd branch naturally felt uncomfortable when they heard that. Now that they had separated from the family, the 3rd branch's things had nothing to do with old Zhao's family. Chapter 1908. If it was in the past, with Zhao Wenhua's stubborn and filial character, he would have probably stuffed 2 hens into Hu Chunhua's hands. Now that he had been following Zhao Yun around for the past few days, he had learned a lot of principles. It wasn't easy for a family to live a good life, so they couldn't be too kind. If they gave others whatever they wanted, it would only make them want a yard after taking an inch. Zhao Wenhua knew Hu Chunhua's character very well. She was the kind of person who would think of ways to take advantage of others. After hesitating for a moment, he said, "Mother, the hens we raise at home are all used to lay eggs. We can't even bear to eat them. If I catch 2 hens for you, we won't have enough eggs at home, and we'll have to spend money to buy more. It's not worth it." Hu Chunhua rolled her eyes at Zhao Wenhua. "You black-hearted son, you just don't want to give them to me. Why are you still talking so much? I've really raised you for nothing. When you were young, I raised you with all my might. Now that you're all grown up, I don't see you being filial to this old woman." Faced with Hu Chunhua's scolding, Zhao Wenhua felt uncomfortable. "Mother, I'm telling the truth. The hens we raise at home are indeed used to lay eggs. Why don't mother go ask eldest brother and second brother? They should also be raising hens, right?" Hu Chunhua lightly snorted. The 1st branch and 2nd branch did indeed raise hens, but it wasn't easy to take advantage of them. The 1st branch was too stingy with Feng Zhangxia. If they really wanted an old hen, they would probably quarrel with her. As for the 2nd branch, what was so good about them? Zhao Wenshui would eat them first and definitely wouldn't give them to her. After thinking about it, the only possibility was to go to the 3rd branch. Who asked the 3rd branch to be rich? She had saved so much money at home, so what was 2 hens to her? 3rd brother, the richer people are, the more willing they are. Why is your family so stingy? You're already so rich. What's wrong with giving me 2 chickens? What's wrong with giving your little sister some nourishment? If 2 of your hens aren't enough to lay eggs in the future, Yun can just go to Yang City and buy more." Hu Chunhua scolded with a displeased expression. This. Zhao Wenhua was embarrassed. She didn't expect Hu Chunhua to expose her so directly. How did I give birth to such an unfilial son? If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have raised you when you were young. Hua Chunhua slapped her thigh and started making a fuss. She wanted to see if Xiao Wenhua would give in after making a fuss. Of course, the reason why Hua Chunhua dared to make a scene was that she didn't see Zhao Yuner come out. Without this ruthless character, Hua Chunhua was still somewhat confident in dealing with her son. She knew that her third son was usually considered filial and wouldn't be able to accept her words. Zhao Tianan listened from the side and couldn't help but retort, "Grandmother, why don't you have any conscience when you speak? Is my father not filial enough to you? After the Dragon Boat Festival, my father specially asked my second sister to send you salted meat dumplings. Did you see the other uncles send them? You have to put yourself in their shoes. You can't always criticize my father." After Zhao Tianan finished speaking, Hua Chunhua's expression immediately darkened. Because Zhao Tianan was speaking the truth, Hua Chunhua appeared very agitated. "Brat, how can you talk to your elders like that? Who are you to interrupt when I'm talking to your father?" Zhao Tianan muttered unhappily, "Grandmother, I'm not interrupting. I'm just stating the facts. You're in the wrong. What right do you have to criticize my father?" Chapter 1909. Liang Jinxiao followed behind Zhao Wenhua and responded, "Yes, mother. Everything in the house was bought by Yuner, so we have to get Yuner's permission before we can use it. Why don't you wait for a while? Yuner has gone out to pick wild vegetables. When Yuner comes back from picking wild vegetables, you can discuss with her and ask if she can catch 2 old hens for you. Is that okay?" Hua Chunhua was not a fool. How could she not know that she had no chance of getting the 2 hens when Zhao Yuner came back? It was already good enough that Zhao Yuner did not argue with her. How could she kindly agree to give the 2 hens to her? Hua Chunhua glared at Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. "You useless things. Why can't you make decisions as parents? 2 adults listening to a little girl. You don't even know where to put your face." In the face of Hua Chunhua's criticism, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao only lowered their heads and did not say a word. This way, Hua Chunhua could not do anything to them. Seeing that Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao had no intention of taking out the hens, Hua Chunhua was a little unhappy. Just then, a fragrant smell suddenly came from the kitchen. Hua Chunhua took a deep breath. The smell was really good. It was as fragrant as fish soup and chicken soup. She wondered what delicious food the third branch had cooked at home. Hua Chunhua rolled her eyes and walked straight to the kitchen. Even if she could not get the hens, she should at least search for something to bring back. Thus, Hua Chunhua walked with her short legs towards the third branch's kitchen. Before Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao could react, Hua Chunhua had already entered the room to open the pot. When she opened the pot, she found something stewing in it. Unfortunately, she couldn't recognize what it was. It was a strange pile of meat. It didn't look good, but it smelled very good. She thought that since the third branch had such good things, perhaps only wealthy families could eat them, so she didn't recognize them. Hua Chunhua scooped up a spoonful of soup and tasted it. She found that it was very delicious. Zhao Xinhui had been drinking chicken soup for a long time and was probably tired of it. It was good to give her a change of taste. Hua Chunhua's heart skipped a beat. She decided to cook all the soup in the pot for Zhao Xinhui. When Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao entered the kitchen, Hua Chunhua had already found a bowl and was scooping soup with a spatula. Zhao Wenhua hurriedly asked, "Mother, what are you doing?" Hua Chunhua pursed her lips and said, "Third son, it's fine if you don't want to give me 2 hens, but I have to fill this pot with soup for your little sister to try. Mother, Yuner stewed this. She will be angry if you do this." Hua Chunhua refused to let it go and retorted, "So what if she stewed it? Isn't it just some soup? Can't you treat it as being filial to your father and me?" "Mother." Zhao Wenhua looked helplessly at Hua Chunhua, not knowing what to say. Mother only thought about how to plunder him the moment she came here. Now, even a little bit of old turtle soup was good. She just had to take it back. Seeing that all the soup in the pot had been scooped out, Zhao Wenhua wanted to go forward and snatch it, but Hu Chunhua took a step back and said, "Third son, don't even think about snatching it from me. Why don't we stop drinking it? I'll throw it to the ground now. Otherwise, I'll take it back. I won't ask you for those 2 hens anymore." Zhao Wenhua was helpless against Hu Chunhua's shameless behavior. Chapter 1910. At most, they wouldn't eat the old turtle soup today. This thing wasn't valuable, and he could catch more later. It was just a little troublesome, and Zhao Yuner had to deal with it. It was worth it to exchange it for 2 hens. Zhao Wenhua sighed. "Mother, Yuner will definitely be unhappy if she finds out. She was the one who made this soup. Aren't you afraid that she will come to you to argue? You brat, what kind of father are you? Don't you know how to persuade her if she has an opinion?" "Mother," Hu Chunhua didn't have the mood to argue with Zhao Wenhua. She rushed out of the kitchen with the bowl in her hand. Before Zhao Wenhua could chase after her, Hu Chunhua had already run far away. "Yuner's father, why don't we just let it go? It's fine if mother takes it back. It's not valuable anyway. It's fine as long as she doesn't ask us for the hens." Zhao Wenhua sighed and responded, "Yes, that's the only way." When Zhao Yuner came back and heard that Hu Chunhua had taken away the old turtle soup she made, Zhao Yuner was furious. What kind of person was this? What right did he have to take something from her house and bring it back? Although the old turtle soup didn't cost money, he had spent a lot of effort on it. It was a nourishing pot of soup. It would be fine if Hu Chunhua took a few bowls back, but he didn't leave a single drop behind and took it all back. How could there be such a person? Zhao Yuner put down the vegetable basket in her hand, rolled up her sleeves, and decided to settle the score with Hu Chunhua. Zhao Wenhua quickly persuaded, "Yuner, why don't we just let it go? Don't argue with your grandmother. It's just a pot of soup. Father can go to the fields and catch a lot more." Zhao Yuner frowned and replied, "Father, it doesn't make sense. Even if it's just a bowl of wild vegetables, what right does she have to come to our house to take things? We've already separated from the family. Who does she think she is? Sigh, girl, you don't usually give us anything. Just take this pot of soup as filial piety to your grandmother and the others." However, Zhao Yuner was not easy to negotiate with. What she cared about was not the things, but the attitude of others. What he hated the most in his life was people like Hu Chunhua. Her actions were like that of a bandit. "Father, this matter is not negotiable. I want Grandma to give me an explanation." Seeing that Zhao Yuner was determined, Zhao Wenhua had no choice but to let Zhao Yuner go. "All right then. Yuner, don't quarrel too much with your grandmother, lest the neighbors see you as a joke. After all, she's your grandmother. Everyone in the village will definitely think that since our family is rich, it's understandable for us to give something to your grandmother." Zhao Yuner responded faintly. She was not afraid of others talking behind her back. In any case, he had been talked about many times. What could he do when the mouths belonged to others? It was fine as long as he had a good time dealing with this weirdo. On the other hand, after Hu Chunhua brought back the old turtle soup from Zhao Yuner's house, she went straight to Zhao Xinhui's house. Hu Chunhua giggled and said, "Huier girl, quickly look at what good food Liang brought for you." Zhao Xinhui sniffed and caught a whiff of a fragrance in the air. It was different from what she usually smelled. She was instantly interested and asked, "Mother, what did you make for me? It smells so good. It should be very delicious." Hu Chunhua's lips curled into a mysterious smile. Then, she brought the bowl in her hand to Zhao Xinhui and explained to Zhao Xinhui, "Huier girl, I got this from the third branch." Zhao Yuner personally stewed it. Chapter 1911. Zhao Xinhui replied to Hu Chunhua disdainfully, "Mother, isn't it normal that you don't know what it is? You can't even recognize the things that rich people eat and use. I reckon that this Zhao Yun got these good things from somewhere, right?" Hu Chunhua hurriedly responded, "Yes, that's what mother thinks." It must be that Yun, or girl who made it so that mother can't recognize it. But since it's good stuff, it's naturally the best. Hui, you should nourish your body well. Zhao Xinhui nodded and said, Zhao Yun, that girl's cooking skills are very good. I think it's delicious just by smelling it. Mother, you have to learn how to cook in the future. The things you cook aren't even half as good as hers. You've been cooking for so many years for nothing. Hua Chunhua smiled embarrassedly and said a little awkwardly, why do you dislike mother's cooking skills? Ever since your daughter-in-law became a stepmother, I've never cooked. Isn't it normal that my cooking skills are a little rusty? But I'm afraid that it'll be a little difficult to learn Yun's cooking skills. Zhao Xinhui pursed her lips resentfully. She was about to throw up from eating her mother's cooking these days. Unfortunately, she had no choice. She didn't want to and didn't know how to cook. She couldn't possibly hire a chef to specially cook for her. Now that she finally got to freeload Zhao Yun's soup, she couldn't wait to taste it. Hua Chunhua hurriedly picked up the spoon and handed it to Zhao Xinhui. She said to Zhao Xinhui, here, Hui, girl, quickly taste it. You have to drink the soup while it's hot. Otherwise, it won't taste good when it's cold. Zhao Xinhui took the spoon and began drinking from the bowl. A fresh and fragrant taste entered her mouth. It was very delicious. Sure enough, Zhao Yun's soup was better than Hua Chunhua's. Unfortunately, she didn't have such a good opportunity to eat Zhao Yun's cooking every day. Hua Chunhua watched from the side. When she saw Zhao Xinhui eating happily, she couldn't help but swallow her saliva. She even asked with a smile, Hui, how does it taste? Zhao Xinhui nodded as she sipped her drink. It tastes good. It's even better than your chicken soup. Hua Chunhua smiled awkwardly and said, Yun knows how to make banquets, so it's normal that she has good culinary skills. Hui, don't just drink the soup. There's still meat. Have a taste of the meat. After Hua Chunhua finished speaking, Zhao Xinhui picked up a few pieces of old turtle meat from the bottom of the bowl. The meat had already been stewed by Zhao Yun, until it was soft and tender. The taste in her mouth was even more praiseworthy. Compared to the soft and tender chicken soup, the old turtle meat was slightly more chewy and tasted very good. After a while, Zhao Xinhui finished all the meat and drank half of the soup. Her stomach was already bloated. Seeing that there wasn't much old turtle soup left in the bowl, Hua Chunhua asked, Hui, aren't you going to drink the rest of the soup? Zhao Xinhui rubbed her round belly and said, Mother, how can I finish such a big bowl of soup in one go? I'm already full. Hua Chunhua smiled. That's true. Then, Hui, if you want to drink it, Mother will drink the rest. Zhao Xinhui was very full at this moment. She waved her hand and said, Mother, if you don't mind my saliva, you can drink it. Hua Chunhua smiled and said, What are you talking about, little girl? Mother can dislike anyone, but I won't dislike my own daughter. Besides, it's such a waste if I don't drink such delicious soup. Mother should drink it. Chapter 1912. Even if she couldn't finish the rest of the old turtle soup, couldn't she have saved it for tonight? Why did she have to drink it all at once? However, Zhao Xinhui didn't say this to Hua Chunhua. Since Hua Chunhua wanted to drink it, then let her drink it. Anyway, she had enough for this meal. Hua Chunhua stretched her nose and sniffed the bowl, then muttered, It smells so good. Then, Hua Chunhua gulped down the rest of the old turtle soup. Seeing Hua Chunhua drinking the soup, Zhao Xinhui couldn't help but frown. She felt that Hua Chunhua was too disgusting. Just drink the soup. Why did she have to make such an expression? It was as if she hadn't drunk it before. She looked so disgusting and sour. Hua Chunhua probably drank too much and drank too quickly. Suddenly, she burped and the turbid air in her stomach sprayed onto Zhao Xinhui's face. Zhao Xinhui was almost disgusted by Hua Chunhua. She complained unhappily to Hua Chunhua, Mother, what are you doing? It stinks, it stinks. Hua Chunhua's expression was extremely unsightly. She tugged at the corner of her mouth and said with a smile, why do you dislike your mother? Mother couldn't hold it in and spat it on your face. Zhao Xinhui glared at Hua Chunhua. Mother, you still have the nerve to say that. Why didn't you spit it somewhere else? Why did you have to spit it on my face? I don't understand. Hua Chunhua explained awkwardly, Mother didn't expect it to be so smelly. I thought that after drinking the soup, the air I spat out would be the fragrance of the soup. Zhao Xinhui was almost disgusted by Hua Chunhua. Why didn't her mother have any self-awareness? She would only be happy if someone exposed her. Mother, how many times has it been? Don't you know that your mouth stinks? Zhao Xinhui complained angrily. Hua Chunhua hurriedly coaxed, all right. Don't be angry. It's Mother's fault this time. Next time, I'll definitely bear with it. I'll definitely not spit on your face. Zhao Xinhui snorted and ignored Hua Chunhua. Hua Chunhua felt even more embarrassed. Finally, she said, you should rest well in your room. Mother will go out and wash the bowl. Later, I will return it to your third brother and third sister-in-law. After all, she didn't just get it from Zhao Yun's house. It was enough to drink the soup. She didn't care for a bowl. Just as he was about to go out, he heard Zhao Yun's voice outside. Zhao Yun's face darkened. When she arrived at old Zhao's courtyard, she yelled at Hua Chunhua. Hua Chunhua's heart thumped. She thought, it's over. Zhao Yun definitely wouldn't have a good time if she came looking for her. She didn't know how Zhao Yun would make a fuss with him later. Zhao Xinhui also frowned. Mother, why is this Yun lass here to make a fuss again? It can't be because of the soup you just brought back, right? Hua Chunhua said somewhat guiltily, it can't be. You, third brother, and third sister-in-law were all there at that time. Those two dead men actually didn't stop Yun lass. Mother, you still have the nerve to say that. You must have taken advantage of Zhao Yun's absence to make the soup. Great, now she's come looking for us again. Lass, didn't Mother bring the soup back for you? If it wasn't to nourish your body, who would go to the first branch to get something to eat? Chapter 1913. Zhao Xinhui abruptly shirked all of her responsibilities, which made Hua Chunhua feel a little disappointed. Towards this daughter of hers, she had treated her well wholeheartedly, but Zhao Xinhui's attitude was indifferent. She pushed her out at the most critical moment. How could she care about their friendship at all? Her sadness was only temporary. Hua Chunhua still treated Zhao Xinhui wholeheartedly. After all, she only had one daughter. If she didn't treat Zhao Xinhui well, who else could she treat well? Mother, I'll go out for a while. Hua Chunhua said and went out of the room. As soon as she went out, she saw Zhao Yun's angry face. Where's my soup? Zhao Yun directly asked. Hua Chunhua also said with a cold face, it's already finished. With that, Hua Chunhua took out the bowl and waved it in front of Zhao Yun. Looking at the bowl without a drop of soup left, Zhao Yun suddenly became angry. This Hua Chunhua was really interesting. She really drank all of it. She only brought it back for a short while and finished it. She was really interesting. It doesn't matter if you finished it. You can't drink it for free. Give me the money. How could Zhao Yun let Hua Chunhua go so easily? Since she couldn't get the thing, she might as well ask for the money early. Anyway, she couldn't let this damned old woman take advantage of her. Otherwise, she would think that he was easy to bully. Next time, she would treat him as a robber. When Hua Chunhua heard Zhao Yun say that she wanted money, she immediately became angry. You damned girl, what are you talking about? Didn't I just drink some soup? You still want money? I raised your father. Can't you give me something to show filial piety? Zhao Yun coldly said, I don't want to say it again. If you don't take out 100 copper coins, I'll go to the government and sue you. What's the difference between you and a thief if you take someone's things without their permission? When Hu Chunhua heard that Zhao Yuner wanted 100 copper coins, her face immediately sank. If he said that she was a thief, then what was the difference between Zhao Yuner and a blackmailer? How could that bowl of soup be worth 100 copper coins? If it were up to her, it would at most be 30 or 40 copper coins, the price of a chicken. Zhao Yuner, on the other hand, suddenly dropped by 100. Asking for it from her was equivalent to fighting with her. Damned girl, where would I get 100 copper coins to give you? Don't even think about it. Hu Chunhua said angrily. Her tough attitude told Zhao Yuner that she would never take out the 100 yuan. Zhao Yuner sneered, "Grandmother, there's no point in saying it a third time. You really refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Then don't blame me for being impolite." As Zhao Yuner said, she pinched her two fingers together, making a crisp sound. Seeing that Zhao Yuner's fist was about to hit her, Hu Chunhua's eyes showed a touch of panic. You damned girl, are you going to hit your elders? My God, I raised such a daughter in vain. I'm too lazy to talk to you. Zhao Yuner rolled her eyes at Hu Chunhua. Before the fist hit Hu Chunhua's body, a miserable cry came from Zhao Xinhui's room. Mother, mother. Zhao Xinhui cried out in alarm, as if something big had happened. Hu Chunhua hurriedly turned her head and shouted back to Zhao Xinhui, "What's wrong, girl, what's wrong?" "Mother, my stomach hurts. It hurts so much." Zhao Xinhui's voice sounded even more miserable. "What's wrong, why does your stomach suddenly hurt?" Hu Chunhua's face was full of confusion. Chapter 1914. Zhao Xinhui continued to cry out in pain, "It hurts, mother, it hurts so much." When Hu Chunhua came closer to take a look, she realized that something was amiss. There was a faint smell of blood in the air. Where did this smell come from? Hu Chunhua frowned and stretched her nose to sniff. She realized that the smell was coming from Zhao Xinhui's body. Could it be that her was injured? But that didn't seem right either. Why was injured when she was perfectly fine? She was sitting perfectly fine in the room. It wasn't as if she had fallen and hurt herself. Could it be that her previous wound had ruptured? Was she bleeding? Hu Chunhua hurriedly lifted Zhao Xinhui's clothes to check where Zhao Xinhui was injured. It didn't matter if she didn't look, but when she did, Hu Chunhua was shocked, because Zhao Xinhui's lower body was bleeding a lot. It looked like a sign of a miscarriage. Hu Chunhua panicked. Why was this happening all of a sudden? Even if she had a miscarriage, it would have happened when she was beaten up. Why was she suddenly having a miscarriage? What exactly is going on? Hu Chunhua's lips trembled as she muttered. Because of the blood, Hu Chunhua's face turned pale for a moment. Mother, what's wrong? Zhao Xinhui gritted her teeth and asked while enduring the pain. Lass, were you injured just now? Did you fall off the bed? Hu Chunhua asked. No. Mother, the bed is so big. How could I fall off? Zhao Xinhui replied unhappily. Then what's going on? Hu Chunhua muttered. The more she looked, the more she felt that something was amiss. Zhao Xinhui felt that Hu Chunhua's words were strange. She didn't know what she was talking about, so she lowered her head and looked down. It was fine if she didn't look, but when she did, she was shocked. The bottom of his pants were stained with blood. It was a ghastly sight. Zhao Xinhui was curious about what had happened to him. Why was there so much blood flowing down there? Mother, my stomach hurts even more. Zhao Xinhui said with a bitter face. He was so scared that he almost cried. Hu Chunhua mumbled, it's over. She's probably going to have a miscarriage. She won't be able to keep the baby. Mother, if we can't keep the child, we really won't be able to return to the Huang estate in the future. Zhao Xinhui said with a sad face. How could Hu Chunhua not know? Keeping the child would at least give him something to remember. In the future, if he could acknowledge his ancestors, Zhao Xinhui would have a chance to return to the Huang estate. The pitiful child was gone. How could a heartless man think about Zhao Xinhui again? For a moment, Hu Chunhua's heart turned cold. What she cared about was not only the rest of her daughter's life, but more importantly, the money that she could take in her own hands. If Zhao Xinhui didn't return to the Huang estate, they could only spend and not have any income. Who knew if something big would happen in the future and they would run out of money? Zhao Xinhui urged Hu Chunhua in dissatisfaction. Mother, why are you still in a daze? Aren't you going to find a doctor for me? Hu Chunhua quickly responded, Okay. Mother will go find a doctor to take a look at you. Don't be afraid. With mother here, everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Hu Chunhua said and ran out of the room. She wanted to quickly call Dr. Sun over. Chapter 1915. Hu Chunhua thought that her pair of short legs would definitely not be able to outrun Zhao Wentao, so it was better to let Zhao Wentao run over and call Dr. Sun over. He would definitely be faster than her. So Hu Chunhua ran in front of Zhao Wentao, grabbed Zhao Wentao's collar, and said to Zhao Wentao, Fourth brother, hurry up and go to Dr. Sun's house and call Dr. Sun over. Zhao Wentao frowned and asked, Mother, what's the matter? What happened again? Why do I have to call Dr. Sun over? Hu Chunhua replied with a worried face, It's your little sister. Your little sister seems to be having a miscarriage. She's bleeding down there now. I have to call Dr. Sun over quickly. Otherwise, I'm afraid that she won't be able to keep the child in her belly. After listening to Hu Chunhua's words, a touch of worry suddenly appeared on Zhao Wentao's face. However, he calmed down and comforted Hu Chunhua, Mother, don't worry. I'll go and call Dr. Sun over, go quickly. Don't waste a moment. Hu Chunhua urged. Okay, Mother. Zhao Wentao immediately turned around and rushed out of the courtyard, while Hu Chunhua continued to stomp her feet anxiously. Hu Chunhua clasped her hands together and murmured to the sky, May the heavens protect us. Please don't let anything happen to our Hui-er. You must bless our Hui-er to be safe and sound. It's best that nothing happens to the baby in her belly. Zhao Yun-er, who was standing at the side, was very curious. Zhao Xinhui actually had a miscarriage. It was simply unexpected. After thinking about it, Zhao Yun-er suddenly widened her eyes and realized something. Although old turtle soup was a nourishing thing, it was only for normal people. It was indeed not suitable for some groups of people. It was not suitable for people with indigestion or pregnant women with weak spleen and stomach. If a pregnant woman ate it, it could cause a miscarriage. It just so happened that Zhao Xinhui was pregnant this time. Hu Chunhua must have brought back the old turtle soup and fed it to Zhao Xinhui. That was why Zhao Xinhui lost a lot of blood and had to have a miscarriage. Thinking of this, Zhao Yun'er trembled with fear. He had been too careless. Fortunately, it was Hu Chunhua who took away the old turtle soup, and not a single drop was left. Otherwise, she would definitely let Liang Jinxiao drink it. Once Liang Jinxiao drank it, would she have a miscarriage like Zhao Xinhui? Perhaps the heavens had purposely arranged for Hu Chunhua to go over and help his mother avoid a calamity. Originally, Zhao Yun'er was still distressed about the bowl of old turtle soup. Now, he only felt that he had thrown a hot potato to someone else. Otherwise, the consequences of drinking the old turtle soup would be unimaginable. Since that was the case, he would no longer pursue Hu Chunhua on this matter. After hearing Hu Chunhua's cries, the rest of old Zhao's family ran out of the house and asked about the situation. Feng Zhangxia comforted, Mother, don't worry too much. Little sister will definitely be blessed by the heavens. Nothing will happen to her. Hu Chunhua did not think that anything would happen, but it was obviously impossible. She was anxious and kept muttering in her heart, It's over. Qian Zhonghu could not help but sigh and said with some sympathy, Little sister has been so pitiful recently. So many things happened one after another, and now she might have a miscarriage. I don't know what to do. Chapter 1916. After listening to Li Chueying's words, Qian Zhurong felt that it was very reasonable. Okay, second sister-in-law, let's buy some things and go to the temple to pray to the Bodhisattva. I hope that our family won't get into trouble in the future. Yes, yes. Hua Chunhua wasn't in the mood to listen to her sisters-in-law. Instead, she was looking forward to Dr. Sun coming over to see how Zhao Xinhui was doing. After a while, she saw that Dr. Sun was late. Dr. Sun's expression was also very heavy. He felt strange. Why did old Zhao's family call him over so frequently? When she caught a glimpse of Dr. Sun, Hua Chunhua rushed to Dr. Sun, grabbed his sleeve, and dragged him into the room. Dr. Sun, please help me take a look at my daughter, Hui. Dr. Sun pulled his sleeve and said indifferently, why are you in such a hurry? If something happens, it's not something that can be solved in a short time. Can't you calm down? Dr. Sun, I'm worried because something big happened to my daughter. I don't see you being so worried about your son. Dr. Sun scolded. Dr. Sun, I only have one daughter and several sons. It's nothing to be worried about. Dr. Sun stopped talking. Anyway, it was the first time he saw someone who cared about their daughter but not their son. It was understandable that they only had one daughter. When they arrived at the room, they found Zhao Xinhui lying on the bed. He was holding his belly and his face looked even paler. Hua Chunhua felt distressed when she saw him. Dr. Sun calmly walked to Zhao Xinhui and took Zhao Xinhui's pulse. After taking his pulse, Dr. Sun's expression became very solemn. Then, he sighed faintly. When she saw Dr. Sun like this, she knew that something bad must have happened. She asked nervously, Dr. Sun, how is my daughter? Is she okay? Okay. How can she be okay? Can't you see that she's bleeding so much? I see it, but Dr. Sun. How is my daughter, Hui? Dr. Sun glanced at Zhao Xinhui and said in a deep voice, Sir, get some medicine and recuperate for a while. She should be fine. However, I can't keep the child in my belly. It can't be, right? Hua Chunhua suddenly became anxious. She was even more worried because she couldn't keep the baby. Is there no other way to save the child? Dr. Sun, this is my family's Hui's first child. It's very important. You have to help her think of a way. Dr. Sun said faintly, if I can think of a way, how can I not save him? Auntie Zhao, I know you're anxious, but you can't be so anxious that you don't care about anything, right? Hua Chunhua had a bitter expression on her face. Didn't Dr. Sun mean that there was really no hope for her Hui? Thus, he shouted at the top of his lungs, Hui, your life is really bitter. Dr. Sun got up and said to Hua Chunhua, okay, don't cry. Let her rest well. Don't delay the patient's rest. I'll prescribe some medicine for you to nurse her back to health. Today's medicine costs 750 copper coins in total. Pay it now. On one hand, Hua Chunhua felt sorry for Zhao Xinhui. On the other hand, she also felt sorry for spending so much money. Chapter 1917. Once you get the medicine, quickly boil it and eat it. Your daughter's injury can't be delayed, Dr. Sun instructed. Okay. Hua Chunhua hurriedly responded. Before Dr. Sun left, Hua Chunhua asked, Dr. Sun, you haven't told me why my little girl Hui suddenly became like this? She didn't bump into anything, didn't she? Why did she suddenly have a miscarriage? Speaking of this, Dr. Sun was silent for a moment before he finally said, I'm not particularly sure, but in my opinion, she must have eaten something that she shouldn't have eaten, which caused the miscarriage. Hua Chunhua's brows knitted together again, and her expression was very solemn. Something that she shouldn't have eaten? Dr. Sun nodded. Sometimes, eating something that she shouldn't have eaten can easily lead to a miscarriage. It's not suitable for pregnant women. Hua Chunhua thought about what Zhao Xinhui had eaten today. He had porridge and eggs in the morning, and he usually ate them, so there shouldn't be any problems. If there was a problem, then it could only be the old turtle soup that was given to Zhao Xinhui later. Otherwise, she really couldn't think of what Zhao Xinhui had eaten. Then it must be that bowl of soup. Hu Chunhua's lips trembled as she muttered. Mother, it's all your fault. Zhao Xinhui clutched his stomach and looked at Hu Chunhua hatefully. I was fine, but you insisted on making me a bowl of soup to drink. Now, are you satisfied? My good child is gone because of you. Hu Chunhua had an innocent expression on her face as she hurriedly waved her hand and explained, Mother didn't know that there was something wrong with the soup. It can't be given to pregnant women, otherwise, Mother would never have made it for you. Zhao Xinhui's chest was stuffed with anger. Mother, what's the use of saying this now? The child is gone, so there's no point in talking about this anymore. Hu Chunhua sighed heavily. She was afraid that Zhao Xinhui would get angry and hurt her body, so she hurriedly comforted Zhao Xinhui. All right, Zhao Xinhui, rest well. Your body needs to recuperate. Mother is going to find Yuner to settle accounts. It's all because of her soup. Zhao Xinhui's body was indeed very weak right now. He didn't have the time to argue with Hu Chunhua. Lying on the bed, cold sweat broke out on his forehead, but he had no choice but to endure it. Hu Chunhua rushed out of the courtyard angrily and pushed all the blame to Zhao Yuner. Initially, she felt a little guilty about Zhao Xinhui's miscarriage. She didn't feel guilty about Zhao Xinhui and Hu Chunhua. She only felt guilty about the unborn child in Zhao Xinhui's belly. After all, it was a life. An adult's actions shouldn't fall on the child's head. She should cherish the child's life. Hu Chunhua rushed out and pointed at Zhao Yuner's nose, scolding, You wretched girl, did you deliberately call your aunt? Why did you cook such a pot of soup? It's clearly inedible. If a pregnant woman eats it, it's easy for her to miscarry, but you still made it. Today, your aunt's child is gone, and it's all because of your soup. So you have to give my wife an explanation. Zhao Yuner saw that Hu Chunhua was like a crazy woman, and a cold look flashed in her eyes. Did this wretched old woman really think that she was easy to bully? Grandmother, how do you want me to be responsible? Zhao Yuner's words implied that this matter had nothing to do with her. However, Hu Chunhua heard it as Zhao Yuner's request for compensation. Chapter 1918. In the Great Zhou country, human trafficking was considered quite frequent. Normal poor families would sell their children and women. These people were basically sold to large families as slaves or maids. There were also some women who were sold to poor families as wives. Depending on the situation, a person's life did indeed cost 30 silver coins. In terms of the amount of money, Hu Chunhua didn't extort her, but Zhao Yuner still felt it was strange. This Hu Chunhua really blamed the miscarried child on her head, and now she wanted her to pay for it. Hu Chunhua felt that other than paying for it, she had no other way to settle this debt with Zhao Yuner. If the child was miscarried, then so be it, she couldn't make the child appear again. So what if she beat up Zhao Yuner and took care of her? Didn't she not get any benefits at all? It was better to directly ask Zhao Yuner for 30 silver coins. With the money, she could buy more delicious food for Zhao Xinhui to nourish her body. Zhao Yuner gave a soft snort and said, Grandmother, your shamelessness is quite strong. If you didn't mention this soup, I wouldn't have settled this debt with you. You acted on your own initiative and stole the soup from me. After giving it to little aunt, you put the blame on me. If you want to talk about responsibility, it should be on your head. I don't care, Zhao Yuner, you have to take responsibility for this matter today. How could the child in your little aunt's stomach be miscarried for nothing? Hu Chunhua's attitude was very firm. It was a pity that this old woman was too simple. Did she think that this would make things difficult for her and she would compromise? Zhao Yuner coldly mocked, Grandmother, to say something unpleasant, a person needs face and a tree needs its bark. Don't think about throwing away your shamelessness every day. I won't take responsibility for this matter and you should pay me back instead. Based on what can you take away my family's soup? You damned girl, you're still so stubborn. Hu Chunhua was so angry that she gritted her teeth. She wanted to go forward and give Zhao Yun'er a few slaps, but she was no match for Zhao Yun'er. Qian Zhozha and Li Chuiying watched from the side and finally understood what was going on. It turned out that Hu Chunhua stole the turtle soup from Zhao Yun'er and gave it to Zhao Xinhui. Unfortunately, the soup was not suitable for pregnant women, so Zhao Xinhui became like this after drinking it. Therefore, this matter was still Hu Chunhua's fault. How could she settle the score with the person who stole something from her? This was not justifiable at all. Thus, Qian Zhozha persuaded Hu Chunhua, "Mother, this matter really isn't Yun'er's fault. Why don't we stop arguing and let it go?" After hearing Qian Zhozha's words, Hu Chunhua glared at Qian Zhozha. "What kind of black-hearted person are you? Helping a damned girl. If it's not her fault, then do you mean it's my fault?" Qian Zhozha was a little helpless. She was just speaking the truth, but Hu Chunhua still scolded her like this. How could there be such a person? "Mother, I think fourth sister-in-law is right. This matter really isn't Yun'er's fault. No one knew that this would happen. It was an accident that the child in my younger sister's stomach was gone. No one wanted to see that." Li Chuiying glanced at Qian Zhozha sympathetically, then continued to help. Qian Zhozha hurriedly responded, Yes, mother. This matter was an accident. How could Hu Chunhua not know? She was just unwilling to let Zhao Yun'er off so easily. Chapter 1919. Zhao Yun'er sneered, "Grandma, shouldn't you be the one having nightmares?" "Why would I have nightmares? Did I force you to steal this soup for my aunt to drink? Don't you know who's responsible for the miscarriage? It's you. Grandma, this child is too innocent. If you ask me, I'm guessing that she'll be haunting you in the future." After hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, Hu Chunhua was indeed frightened by Zhao Yun'er. This wretched girl was actually scaring her. Hu Chunhua's body trembled violently at the thought of a vengeful soul coming for her life. In her heart, she secretly prayed for Bodhisattva's protection. Don't let Zhao Yun'er's crow's mouth come true. Although she was old, she was still afraid of death. At the same time, she also prayed silently to Zhao Xinhui's miscarriage that she didn't do it on purpose, so please don't make trouble for her. The quarrel in old Zhao's courtyard attracted the attention of the surrounding neighbors. Many people came forward to see what interesting things were happening in old Zhao's house. Normally, there was nothing to pass the time. Whenever there was a commotion, the villagers would try their best to get involved, just like watching TV in the 21st century. Ah, Auntie Zhao's face is black with anger. What's going on? Auntie Wang gossiped. Auntie Zhang's courtyard was close to old Zhao's, so she could vaguely hear some of the conversation while standing in her own courtyard. It seems that Auntie Zhao's youngest daughter had a miscarriage and drank the soup cooked by Yun'er. Ah, that's a serious matter. Although the child hasn't been born yet, it's still half a life, right? It's normal for Auntie Zhao's eyes to turn red with anger when this happened. Since it was Yun'er who cooked the soup, then he should take some responsibility and compensate for it. Auntie Zhang added, but I just heard that Auntie Zhao went to steal Yun'er's soup. She didn't expect this to happen after drinking it. When Auntie Zhang said this, the onlooking neighbors hurriedly said, if that's the case, you can't blame Yun'er. Who told her to steal it herself? Stealing is a mistake. How can you have the face to ask someone to take responsibility for it? AI, isn't that so? She was fine and didn't ask you to steal. You stole it yourself. Even if you drank yourself to death, you wouldn't be able to find her. This Auntie Zhao's character is too bad. Putting aside the fact that she has done such things, she's even acting like this now. Yun'er is so pitiful. Because you're used to being unreasonable. How can we reason with him now? AI, that's why I said Yun'er is pitiful. I'm on Yun'er's side in this matter. I'm also on Yun'er's side. Disasters can be forgiven, but disasters brought on by oneself are the hardest to bear. She caused the death of her daughter's unborn child. Why should she blame others? That's right. The villagers chattered. After figuring out the cause and effect of the matter, they all began to blame Hu Chunhua. Hu Chunhua stood in the yard, feeling a little embarrassed. The villagers were really nosy. What did old Zhao's matter have to do with others? What right did they have to criticize? You gossipy old women, get out of here. Don't crowd around my door. Hu Chunhua was so angry that she took a broom to chase them away. Chapter 1920. I have the final say on my family's land. Scram, scram, scram. Hu Chunhua continued to urge them impatiently. This caused the surrounding villagers to feel disgusted again. Auntie Zhao, you can't be unreasonable. Even if you're flustered and exasperated, you can't vent your anger on us, right? We're all from the same village, so it's normal for us to visit each other. If you don't let us stand at your house today, don't come to our house in the future. The other villagers echoed, that's right. At most, we won't come to your house in the future. Don't loiter in front of our house in the future. Otherwise, we'll definitely chase you out. Hu Chunhua was also someone who liked to join in the fun. She liked to follow other people when something happened. If she couldn't go to other people's houses in the future, she would be bored to death by being cooped up in her own courtyard all day. After thinking about this, she resentfully put away the broom in her hand and stopped chasing people away. Not long after, Zhao Baoshan also returned. When Zhao Baoshan saw so many people gathered in the courtyard, he knew that something must have happened at home. The moment he returned, he asked with a sullen expression, "Old woman, what's going on? Why are there so many people here?" Hu Chunhua snorted softly. How could she have the nerve to bring it up when the villagers were berating her like this? Zhao Yun glanced at Zhao Baoshan indifferently. She knew that in old Zhao's house, Zhao Baoshan was much more tactful and reasonable than Hu Chunhua. Thus, she told Zhao Baoshan everything that had happened. When Zhao Baoshan heard that Zhao Xinhui had lost her child, his expression turned ugly. Although he didn't like Zhao Xinhui very much, she was his only daughter after all. He doted on her very much when she was young. Zhao Xinhui was already pitiful enough after being abandoned by young Master Huang. Now that she even lost her child, she really suffered a lot during this period. Seeing Zhao Baoshan's dark face, Hu Chunhua was a little worried. She was afraid that Zhao Baoshan would put the blame on her. Old man. Hu Chunhua called out weakly with a guilty conscience. Zhao Baoshan glared fiercely at Hu Chunhua and scolded, "You're so silly. Look at what you've done at your age. You still have the nerve to say that second brother is doing such sneaky things. Aren't you the same? If the upper beam is crooked, the lower beam will be crooked. She didn't do a good job, yet she liked to criticize others. I was wondering who my second son resembled. It turns out that he learned your skills." Zhao Wenxue was also watching from the side. When he heard his father's words, he nodded and praised him at first, but after hearing what his father said, he felt that something was wrong. Was his father criticizing his mother, or was his father criticizing him as well? Hu Chunhua was even more at a loss after being scolded by Zhao Baoshan. She muttered weakly, "Old man, isn't this for our Hui? She needs to nourish her body well." Coincidentally, she went to third brother's house and stewed some soup. What's wrong with me bringing it back for Hui, to nourish her body? Who knew that something like this would happen? If you ask me, it's third brother's fault. Clearly, there was something wrong with the soup, but he didn't remind me and let me give it to Hui, Zhao Baoshan almost spat fire from his nose. Look at this, you still have the nerve to say such things at this time. You don't know how to repent. Your skin is getting thicker and thicker. Not only did you steal, you even want to push the blame to the third branch. Chapter 1921. Old man, I. Hu Chunhua was a little ashamed of being lectured by Zhao Baoshan. She didn't admit her mistake in her heart, but it wasn't good to scold her in front of so many people, right? Zhao Baoshan glanced coldly at Hu Chunhua. If you have the time to argue with Yun'er, why don't you go and check on Hui-er's situation? You're always distracted. Qian Zhonghuai also hurriedly pulled Hu Chunhua and said, Mother, you should go and check on little sister quickly. Don't continue to argue. Little sister is the most important. By the way, Dr. Sun's medicine also needs to be boiled quickly for little sister to drink. Speaking of this, Hu Chunhua's expression changed. At this time, she really should pay more attention to Zhao Xinhui. Then I won't argue with Yun'er. I'm going to check on Hui-er. Hu Chunhua muttered. Zhao Yun'er felt very strange. Although Zhao Baoshan was more reasonable and helped her reprimand Hu Chunhua's attitude made her unhappy. How could it be so easy to leave as she wished? Grandmother, you're in the wrong today. No matter what, you have to apologize to me, right? Isn't it a little inappropriate to just leave like this? Hu Chunhua furrowed her brows and replied angrily, What are you talking about, girl? I've already left and you're still arguing with me. I'm your grandmother. How can you treat your elders like this? How can an elder apologize to a younger generation? Don't push your luck. I'm pushing my luck. Don't I need to apologize for doing something wrong? Zhao Yun'er asked coldly. The surrounding villagers couldn't stand it and criticized Hu Chunhua. Aunt Zhao is really interesting. What's wrong with apologizing to Yun'er when you're not in the right? She's so angry. Yun'er is so pitiful. She has such an elder. She's taking advantage of her seniority. Who does she think she is? Not only did Hu Chunhua feel embarrassed, but Zhao Baoshan also felt embarrassed. Zhao Baoshan urged Hu Chunhua, Old woman, it's your fault. Apologize to Yun'er now. Hu Chunhua reluctantly apologized to Zhao Yun'er. Okay. Yun'er, it's my fault. I'll apologize to you and apologize, okay? After saving her face, Zhao Yun'er glanced at Hu Chunhua with her sharp eyes and said, Since you know you're in the wrong, then let's forget about it. But I hope you'll watch your mouth in the future. Don't slander others and falsely accuse a good person. Hu Chunhua gritted her teeth and agreed. This wretched girl. She would definitely settle the score with her later. She was so angry. After Hu Chunhua went into the house, Zhao Baoshan walked to Zhao Yun'er and said to Zhao Yun'er, Yun'er, it's your grandmother's fault. Don't argue with her. We're a family. She's just too anxious when something so serious happened to your aunt. Zhao Yun'er replied indifferently, Grandmother, you don't have to tell me. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Seeing Zhao Yun'er's departing figure, Zhao Baoshan's face was full of helplessness. At this time, he was most worried about Zhao Xinhui's situation. He and Hu Chunhua were worried about different things. Hu Chunhua was worried about Zhao Xinhui's health, while Zhao Baoshan was worried about Zhao Xinhui's future. Chapter 1922. He didn't care about having more food to eat, but he felt that it was inconvenient in many places. Putting everything else aside, Hu Chunhua still had to serve this daughter of his like an ancestor every day. He didn't know when Zhao Xinhui would be sensible. The originally noisy old Zhao's courtyard quieted down because of Zhao Yun'er's departure, and the villagers went back in twos and threes. When Zhao Yun'er rushed home, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were worried and asked about Zhao Yun'er's situation. Yun, did you and your grandmother cause too much trouble? Not much. But this time, we have to thank her for scooping up all the soup in our pot. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were puzzled, and Zhao Yun'er told them what had happened. After listening to Zhao Yun'er's explanation, Zhao Wenhua patted his chest in fear and muttered, Thank goodness, thank goodness. If your mother drank it, the child in your mother's belly would be miscarried. Zhao Yun'er responded faintly. Liang Jinxiao felt a little guilty. Yun'er's father, although that's what you said, the child in my aunt's belly is still a child. Aren't you using her child to exchange for my child? I feel very guilty. Zhao Yun knew that Liang Jinxiao was a kind person. He couldn't bear to hurt small animals, let alone an innocent child. If she didn't comfort Liang Jinxiao well, this matter would probably always be in his heart. Zhao Yun comforted her. Mother, this soup was supposed to be drunk by us, but my grandmother came and snatched it away. We couldn't stop her. Now that my aunt's child is gone, it's my grandmother's fault. It has nothing to do with you. In my opinion, this matter was arranged by God to let mother keep the child in her womb and let little aunt lose her life. Zhao Wenhua also hurriedly chimed in, yes, yes, yes. Yun'er's mother, Yun'er is right. This matter was arranged by God. God wants to protect the child in your belly. Liang Jinxiao still could not let it go and asked, is that really the case? Of course. Mother, many things were arranged by the heavens. Otherwise, how could today's situation be so coincidental? Perhaps God doesn't want Auntie to keep the baby in her belly. Liang Jinxiao sighed faintly and said, Yun'er, no matter what, your aunt has lost her child. After all, we are related to each other. She was the one who saved me. In the future, I have to send her some food to nourish her body. Zhao Yun'er patted Liang Jinxiao's shoulder comfortingly and said, Mother, I know. I will send some food to Auntie to nourish her body. Seeing that Zhao Xinhui had saved her from a disaster, she was not stingy with some food. This was to make Liang Jinxiao feel less guilty. However, she was afraid that Zhao Xinhui would not dare to eat casually anymore. This matter should be able to teach old Zhao's family a lesson. Mu Lianfeng prepared to go back to the Shizhi mansion because it was going to be the Dragon Boat Festival. Every year during the Dragon Boat Festival, he would spend it with Matriarch Mu. After all, he was the only one left in the Mu family. If he did not accompany Matriarch Mu, then Matriarch Mu would have to spend the Dragon Boat Festival alone in the Shizhi mansion. Mu Lianfeng, who usually paid attention to filial piety, naturally would not let this happen. Previously, he had been avoiding Matriarch Mu and had not returned to the Mu mansion for a long time. Now, he should go back and take a look. Chapter 1923. He knew that old Madame Mu didn't agree before, so this matter had been delayed. Now that the emperor had granted the marriage, even old Madame Mu had no room to object. So now he could take Zhao Yun back. As a man, even if Zhao Yun had never said it, she might not care. But for a man, he must give his wife and children a proper identity. With the marriage granted by the emperor and Daodu as her son, old Madame Mu wouldn't be too embarrassed. When the time came, he would take Zhao Yun and Daodu back to accompany old Madame Mu to celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival, and let the old lady experience the joy of 4 generations living under the same roof. With such a true feeling, old Madame Mu would be more willing to accept Zhao Yun Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun discussed this matter, and Zhao Yun didn't object. Old Madame Mu was dissatisfied with her because of her identity, and this was the way the society was. It wasn't old Madame Mu's unique view. After all, she was Mu Lianfeng's biological grandmother. Since she was with Mu Lianfeng, she had to accept Mu Lianfeng's family. The two of them prepared for a while and went back in 2 days. Before Zhao Yun went to the Shizhi mansion, she brought some small gifts. Knowing that the Shizhi mansion didn't lack gold, silver, silk, satin, and all kinds of delicacies, Zhao Yun brought some special things that were made by herself. They were all treasures in the mountains. She didn't eat them on normal days, so she brought them to old Madame Mu. Before Zhao Yun left for the Shizhi mansion, the people of the Tian family came over. This time, the Tian family didn't come empty-handed to Zhao Yun's house. They brought some vegetables, some eggs, and some fresh fruits. The fruits were from their own fruit trees. The peaches and plums looked good. However, when the Tian family came, the third branch didn't welcome them. The marriage that had been agreed upon with the Tian family was cancelled by the Tian family because Zhao Yun was pregnant before marriage. Although others felt that it was normal and reasonable for the Tian family to withdraw from the engagement, no one used the Tian family's withdrawal as an excuse. But for Zhao Yuner at that time, it could be said to be one disaster after another. At that time, the third branch was very embarrassed and humiliated. Since then, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao had treated the Tian family as their enemy. How could they be nice to the Tian family? After 3 years, he had almost forgotten about the Tian family. Who would have thought that these people would be so thick-skinned as to come knocking on his door? Zhao Wenhua frowned when he saw the Tian couple and Tian Wenhan coming to his house. He didn't know what they were planning to do. When the Tian family saw Zhao Yun's 10 brick houses, they were deeply shocked. They came to the village today to ask around. Soon, they found out where Zhao Yuner's new residence was and rushed over. Others might not have a direct impression of it, but when he saw it with his own eyes, he finally understood what it meant to be imposing. There were only a few houses like Zhao Yuner's house in the surrounding villages. Only rich landlords could afford it. This house cost at least a few hundred taels. It could be imagined how rich Zhao Yuner's family was now. After seeing Zhao Yuner's new house, the Wu clan was even more determined to let Tian Wenhan marry Zhao Yuner. When Zhao Yuner came back with them, their family would also build a big house. In this way, she could live in a big, spacious, and comfortable brick house like the third branch. "What are you doing here?" Zhao Wenhua asked unhappily, as if he wanted to drive them away. Chapter 1924. Just now, he was shocked by Zhao Yuner's house. He was so fascinated that he didn't recover from it. Seeing Zhao Wenhua's displeased expression, the Wu clan laughed and said, "Brother Zhao, we're here today because we have something to discuss." Zhao Wenhua replied angrily, "If you have something to say, just say it. Don't waste my time. If you're done, get out of here." Facing Zhao Yunhua's attitude, the Tian couple were extremely displeased. Wasn't this clearly not putting them in their eyes? However, for the sake of today's business, the Wu clan suppressed their anger and said with a smile, "Brother Zhao, don't be angry. Our Tian family was in the wrong. I know you're angry, but we're here today to make it up to your family." While the Wu clan was talking, Liang Jinxiao came out of the house. Usually, Liang Jinxiao was gentle and didn't give others a hard time. However, when he saw the Tian family, his reaction was similar to Zhao Wenhua's. When he heard the Wu clan's words, Liang Jinxiao replied coldly, "Our family doesn't need any compensation. Hurry up and leave." Sigh. The Wu clan was a little anxious. "You haven't heard how I'm going to make it up to you. Why are you in such a hurry to chase us away? How can you do this?" His words contained his displeasure towards Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao. The Tian family had been polite enough to come over today and speak nicely to them. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were already very polite. However, this couple was too much. "I said that we don't need any compensation. Who knows if you're here today with bad intentions? When you broke off the engagement with Yuner, our families swore not to interact with each other. Why are you here today?" Zhao Wenhua replied bluntly. Then, she picked up the broom at home and was about to chase them away. Liang Jinxiao also hoped that the Tian family would leave as soon as possible. Otherwise, it would be bad if Zhao Yuner saw them. Although Zhao Yuner had forgotten about Tian Wenhan, who knew if she would remember something after seeing him. Right now, their family and Zhao Yuner were living very well. There was no need for the Tian family to come and mess things up. When the Tian family saw the increase in Zhao Wenhua's price, they shouted, "Who are you? You're a guest. Let's not talk about how you treat them, but you can't chase them away, right? Is this how your family treats others?" Zhao Wenhua snorted and replied, "Of course we treat people politely, but it's different when it comes to dogs. Who says that we have to treat dogs politely and not chase them away?" When the Tian family heard Zhao Wenhua comparing them to dogs, they all looked very embarrassed. "Wenhan's mother, why don't we leave? They're looking down on us. We don't have to come over. Otherwise, they'll think that our Tian family is sticking to them." Tian Wenhan's father, Tian Shuanyo, was a man who cared about his reputation. Now that he was being scolded by Zhao Wenhua, how could he stand it? He tugged at the Wu clan and expressed that he wanted to leave. Although the Wu clan was angry, they were a little unwilling when they thought about Zhao Yun'er's family's money. If they left, they would lose everything. Wouldn't they have come here for nothing today? We're not leaving. Wenhan's father, have you forgotten what I told you? Wu clan bit his lower lip and said. Chapter 1925. But with the Zhao family's attitude now, was it possible? They weren't even willing to talk to them, so how could they be willing to discuss the marriage? Tian Shuanyo had no choice but to wait and see what the Wu clan would say next. The Wu clan stepped forward and continued, Brother Zhao, don't be angry. Let's calm down and talk. After listening to what I have to say, I promise you won't be angry anymore. At least let us finish talking. If you're still angry after we finish talking, then we'll leave, okay? The Wu clan was sure that as long as the Tian family agreed to let Tian Wenhan marry Zhao Yun, the Zhao family would definitely be grateful. By then, they would be overjoyed. How could they chase them away? This time, the Wu clan's attitude was good. Liang Jinxiao was also curious about what the Tian family wanted to say. Liang Jinxiao discussed with Zhao Wenhua, Yun'er's father, why don't we let them finish talking? Let's see what they're here for. Zhao Wenhua's face darkened. After thinking for a moment, he said, okay, let them talk. When they're done, they'll leave quickly. The Wu clan's face was full of smiles. He hurriedly said, it's like this. Brother Zhao, sister-in-law Zhao, didn't our Wenhan break off the engagement? I've also inquired about it. Your family's Yun hasn't remarried since then. However, there's nothing we can do about it. After all, she's a virgin and got pregnant before marriage. It's difficult for her to find another husband. But a girl has to get married eventually. She can't stay at home forever and be an old aunt, right? Today, we're here to continue discussing the marriage of the two children. Our Wenhan isn't married either. Why don't he marry Yun-er? Anyway, the two children were engaged back then. They're in love with each other. After the Wu clan finished speaking, Tian Wenhan hurriedly stepped forward and said to Zhao Wenhua very respectfully, Uncle Zhao, Wenhan has been obsessed with Yun-er for the past few years. If I can be with Yun-er, I'll definitely treat Yun-er well in the future and take care of Yun-er. I'll never let Yun down in this life. After listening to Tian Wenhan's words and seeing that Tian Wenhan was different from the Tian family, his attitude was very sincere. It could be seen that Tian Wenhan really put Zhao Yun-er in his heart. However, Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao only felt that the Tian family's words were funny. It was the Tian family who came to break off the engagement. Now, it was also the Tian family who came to say that they wanted to be together again. It was as if they could do whatever they wanted without considering the Zhao family's opinion. The Wu clan said, Brother Zhao, Auntie Zhao, you also know that our Wenhan is good at studying. He passed the county level long ago. It's only a matter of time before he becomes a provincial scholar. If your Yun can marry Wenhan, it'll be her fortune. She can even become the wife of an official in the future. If you miss this opportunity, you won't have another one. With Yun-er's qualifications, you definitely won't be able to find someone better than our Wenhan. The Wu clan's attitude was a bit high and mighty. In the eyes of Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao, they felt that their Yun-er was climbing up the social ladder by marrying Tian Wenhan. If it was in the past, the Zhao family might have considered accepting if the Tian family proposed a new engagement. However, Zhao Yun now had Mu Yanfeng. Mu Yanfeng's status was not something that Zhao Wenhan could compare to. Chapter 1926. Zhao Wenhua's answer was beyond the Tian couple's expectations. Even Tian Wenhan was surprised. The Wu clan didn't understand. If it were any other family, the Wu clan would have been more than happy to accept their proposal. What was with the Zhao family's reaction? Could it be that he really doesn't intend to marry Zhao Yun-er off? Did they want Zhao Yun to stay at home forever? How could there be parents who didn't consider their child's situation at all? Brother Zhao, sister-in-law Zhao, we came here with sincerity. You can't do this, right? You should at least listen to Yun's opinion. She has to say that she doesn't want to marry. Aren't you harming her by keeping her at home and not marrying her off? Don't tell me you want her to stay single forever and be laughed at by the villagers? The Wu clan replied unhappily. How could Zhao Yunlong not understand the faces of the Tian couple? How could the Tian family come here with sincerity for the good of the two children? They wanted the two children to be together. It was obvious that they wanted the third branch's money. If the third branch didn't have such a good life, I probably wouldn't have come to visit the Tian family. Perhaps Tian Wenhan was sincere, and the Tian couple was definitely here for the sake of money. After the Wu clan finished speaking, Zhao Yun came back with Daodu from outside the courtyard. She had heard the Wu clan's words just now and felt that it was a little funny. It seemed that in other people's eyes, she was really an unmarried old woman who was despised by others. After knowing the Wu clan's identity, Zhao Yun sneered and replied, I have the same opinion as my father. I don't want to marry. I'm really not worthy of your family, so you should go back. Hearing Zhao Yun's voice, the Tian couple and Tian Wenhan all looked at Zhao Yun. Zhao Yun was wearing a peach-pink dress. The fabric of the dress was thin, and it was most refreshing to wear in summer. Whether it was the color or the style, it was very beautiful. In addition, with Zhao Yun's slim figure and a pearl hairpin in her hair, she simply dressed up, just like a young lady of a big family, beautiful and elegant. Where was the rough appearance of a peasant girl? If she didn't say it, no one would think that Zhao Yun was from the countryside. Moreover, Zhao Yun's skin had been nourished until it was rosy and fair, making her even more attractive. The last time he saw Zhao Yun was only wearing coarse clothes because she was working. At this moment, Zhao Yun was resting at home and didn't have to do any rough work, so she wore a nice dress. It was precisely because of this that Zhao Yun was different from others. And beside Zhao Yun there was a 3-year-old baby. The baby was also very delicate, just like a porcelain doll. He was also wearing brocade clothes, and the fabric of the clothes was very valuable. When this pair of mother and son walked out, people would think that they were a madam and a young master of a big family. The Tian family's eyes were straight. Who would have thought that Zhao Yun and her son would become like this? Just based on Zhao Yun's appearance, it was estimated that many rich people would like her. It wouldn't be difficult for her to marry again. When Tian Wenhan saw such a beautiful Zhao Yun, he instantly felt that he was not worthy of her. Originally, he had gathered his courage to come over, but now, he only had a guilty conscience in his heart. This is Yun'er girl. Tian Shui Niu muttered in disbelief. Chapter 1927. The Zhao family has really changed a lot compared to before. Tian Shui Niu sighed. If they had known that the Zhao family would become so prosperous one day, and that Zhao Yun would become so beautiful, their Tian family wouldn't have broken off the engagement. Zhao Yun walked to the Tian family, raised her eyebrows, and said, What? Didn't you hear what I said? Why haven't you left yet? Yun, Tian Wenhan's burning gaze fell on Zhao Yun, and he was reluctant to look away. His voice became a little hoarse, and when he stared at Zhao Yun, there was a little tenderness in his eyes. Zhao Yun, smiled slightly as a greeting. She didn't like the Tian family couple, but Zhao Yun's first impression of Tian Wenhan wasn't bad. He was a gentle man. After all, Tian Wenhan had helped her before, so Zhao Yun remembered it in her heart, and wouldn't be too angry at people who helped her before. As for Tian Wenhan's involvement in breaking off the engagement, Zhao Yun didn't blame Tian Wenhan for it. In this era, parents were the ones who dictated the matchmaker's words. How many people could decide their own marriage? In the end, it was the original Zhao Yun who let her down, not her. Zhao Yun didn't have much hatred for Tian Wenhan. Yun, girl, why don't you consider our family's Wenhan? Our family's Wenhan is so outstanding. It's your blessing that he's willing to propose marriage. If you miss this village, there won't be another shop. The Wu clan continued to ask, unwilling to give up. When Zhao Yun heard the Wu clan's words, she knew that this woman was acting like her son was the best in the world. If she married Tian Wenhan, it would be Tian Wenhan who suffered a loss. If she really married into the Tian family, she didn't know how the Wu clan would look down on her. What's there to consider? I said I don't agree, so I don't agree. No matter how good your son is, it's your business. You can find a more suitable wife. You don't have to find me at all. Zhao Yun coldly replied. The Wu clan and Tian Shui Niu looked at each other, and their eyes were filled with confusion and anger. The situation was far from what they had expected. The Zhao family actually didn't agree to this marriage. Tian Shui Niu advised, Wenhan's mother, since he has already said so, let's just leave. With Wenhan's qualifications, why does he have to look for the Zhao family to take the bride? Later, I'll ask the matchmaker to tell them how many good girls he can't find. However, Madame Wu stood still. She just couldn't take it lying down. Zhao Yunlong chased him away with a dark face. Hurry up and leave. If you don't leave, don't blame me for being rude. As Zhao Yunlong spoke, he waved the broom in his hand, as if he was chasing him away. The Wu clan also had a bad temper. They stood in the courtyard and scolded, what kind of person is this? What kind of attitude is this? This family is really strange. Our family's Wenhan is so good. It's a great favor for you to come and propose marriage. Do you really think you're so great because you have money? You think you can find someone better than our family's Wenhan because you have money? Let me tell you, that's impossible. Zhao Yun is a woman who got pregnant before marriage. Ordinary countrymen are too lazy to want her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have remained unmarried for so many years. Our family's Wenhan is a scholar. He's also handsome. You can't find anyone like him. In my opinion, when Zhao Yun is a few years older, she can only marry an old man if she wants to marry. Chapter 1928. Or maybe the Wu clan really thought that their son was not good enough for anyone. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were very unhappy with the Wu clan's words. Even if the Tian Wenhan was really good, they couldn't belittle Zhao Yun, just because the Tian family had rejected them. They made it sound as if Zhao Yun was really worthless and no man was willing to marry her. However, the reality was the opposite of what the Wu clan had said. Not only did Zhao Yun have someone who was willing to marry her, but the man was also the current crown prince. The Tian Wenhan couldn't compare to such a noble man in any way. Zhao Wenhua and Liang Jinxiao were about to say something when Mu Lianfeng came back. Mu Lianfeng heard the Wu clan's words and sneered. Who said that no one wants Yun, and she can only marry an old man? Mu Lianfeng's cold voice rang out. The Tian family looked behind them and saw a tall and noble man walking over. Judging by the man's temperament and clothes, they knew that he was not an ordinary person. The Tian family looked at Mu Lianfeng curiously. They were curious about Mu Lianfeng's identity. Who was this man? While the Tian family was puzzled, Daodu called out sweetly to Mu Lianfeng, Daddy. The Tian family was stunned. Daddy? Daodu called Mu Lianfeng Daddy. Didn't that mean that he was Zhao Yun's man? But they didn't hear that Zhao Yun was married. How did a man appear out of nowhere? Mu Lianfeng walked over to Zhao Yun and held Zhao Yun's hand. He looked at Zhao Yun with a touch of tenderness in his eyes. Yun this is. The Wu clan couldn't help but ask. They should at least figure out the man's identity. Before Zhao Yun could answer, Mu Lianfeng introduced himself to the Wu clan. I'm Yun's future husband. I'll marry Yun soon. So Yun will never marry your son. Of course, it's not that no one wants her. After Mu Lianfeng finished speaking, the Wu clan's eyes widened. They couldn't believe it. The man in front of them had an extraordinary identity. How could he marry a woman like Zhao Yun-er? Didn't he know that Zhao Yun-er was pregnant before she got married? Ordinary families wouldn't be willing to marry such an indecent woman, let alone rich and powerful families. After Mu Yanfeng finished speaking, Zhao Wenhua added, "Sister-in-law of the Tian family, maybe you don't know. Our Yun-er is going to marry Shitzi soon. The Tian family came to propose marriage, but our Zhao family really doesn't want it." Zhao Yun-er saw that Zhao Wenhua seemed to be doing it on purpose. It turned out that her father had a cute side. He said this to vent his anger and to show off in front of the Wu clan. After Zhao Wenhua said this, he did feel a lot better. Didn't the Tian family look down on people? Didn't they look down on their family's Yun-er? Now, he would let them know what it meant to look down on others. No matter how powerful and well-off Tian Wenhan was, he was still far behind Mu Yanfeng. The Tian family felt that Yun-er was climbing up the social ladder, but they didn't expect that there was someone better behind her. Seeing the shocked faces of the Tian family, Liang Jinxiao couldn't help but cover his mouth and laugh secretly. This time, he really vented his anger. It was as if he had won back the face he had lost when the engagement was broken. This is impossible. Brother Zhao, who do you think this is? Shitzi. This is Shitzi. Chapter 1929. Madame Wu pointed at Mu Yanfeng and asked. The shock in her eyes showed that she was in disbelief at this moment. She muttered, "How is that possible? How can this person be the current heir apparent? Don't mislead people. How can the heir apparent be interested in Yun-er?" Zhao Yun found the rich expressions on Wu clan's face very funny. Even if she was jealous and uncomfortable, there was no need to make it so obvious, right? However, this slap in the face really made her feel very bitter. Sister-in-law of the Tian family, it's not up to you to decide whether or not he is the heir apparent. Is it useless for you to say no? Zhao Wenhua raised her head and said. Mu Yanfeng's lips curled into a smile. He stood in front of Wu clan with his hands clasped behind his back and said to Wu clan, "Why? Do you think I don't look like the heir apparent?" When Mu Yanfeng came over and spoke, the aura on his body was released, and a wave of pressure pressed down on everyone's bodies. Wu clan was shocked by this aura and couldn't help but tremble. Who knows? If you say you are the heir apparent, then so be it. There's no way to verify it. Wu clan mumbled, unwilling to believe it. Mu Yanfeng's lips curled. He took out a waist token and handed it to Tian Wenhan. He said to Tian Wenhan, "You look like a scholar. Since that's the case, you should recognize this, right?" Tian Wenhan took the waist token and glanced at it. Then he hurriedly said respectfully to Mu Yanfeng, "Heir apparent." Seeing Tian Wenhan's reaction, he seemed to recognize it. If it was someone else who said that Wu clan was the heir apparent, she wouldn't believe it. However, since Tian Wenhan said it, she had to believe it even if she didn't want to. Tian Wenhan couldn't lie. Wu clan's lips trembled as she moved closer to Tian Wenhan and asked, "Wenhan, are you sure? Is this person really the heir apparent?" Tian Wenhan said with a sullen face, "Mother, how could I be wrong? I've read about the nobility in books and teachers." Although he didn't want to admit it, it was the truth. He couldn't deny it, right? Mu Yanfeng took back the waist token in Tian Wenhan's hand and said, "Auntie, since it's proven, I hope you don't speak nonsense." Mu Yanfeng's warning tone was very obvious. Wu clan's mother's mother. Zhao Yunhua and Liang Jinxiao faced Madame Tian and felt very proud. Back then, it was one thing for the Tian family to break off the engagement, but they also said a lot of unpleasant things. They trampled on the third branch, not giving them any face at all. Zhao Yun had already suffered a blow from that incident. Coupled with the Tian family's disturbance, she almost died. Fortunately, they had endured through everything. It was really a case of guarding a mountain until the sun came out. Now, it was the Tian family that was the face of the three branches. "Since you know, why don't you leave? In the future, our Yun will marry the heir apparent. Zhao Wenhuo waved his hand and urged them to leave. Tian Shuai-nyo hurriedly pulled the Wu clan back. That's enough, Wenhan's mother. Let's go. It's embarrassing to stay here any longer. Why bother? Wu clan looked at the third branch unwillingly. Seeing the faint smile on their faces, they felt that they had lost all face today. If they had known this would happen, they wouldn't have come. Chapter 1930. Originally, they thought that if Zhao Yun could marry into the Tian family, the Zhao family would definitely agree. Moreover, it was Zhao Yun who was climbing up their Wenhan's social ladder. Who knew that Zhao Yun's family was so powerful that they even recognized the Shiziyi? More importantly, the Shiziyi was willing to marry Zhao Yun. No wonder the Zhao family looked down on the Tian family. It turned out that there was someone better behind them. Just now, the Wu clan's words were like a slap to their own face. The Tian family naturally couldn't keep their faces. Being pulled by Tian Shuai-nyo, the Wu clan had no choice but to leave the third branch's courtyard. However, before leaving, they still said unwillingly, really, isn't it just because she climbed up to the Shiziyi that she looks down on our Wenhan? Despising the poor and loving the rich, this kind of person will also be wanted. The third branch was a little speechless. What did he mean by despising the poor and loving the rich? Could it be that when there was someone with better conditions, he would still choose someone with worse conditions to be with? As long as there was nothing wrong with her head, she should know how to choose. Of course, the most important thing was that Mu Lianfeng was Dao De's biological father. Zhao Yun and Mu Lianfeng were in love with each other. Mu Lianfeng treated Zhao Yun and her son extremely well. How many men could compare to him? After the Wu clan finished speaking, Tian Wenhan said to the Wu clan with a serious face, "Mother, don't say such things. Yun choosing the Shiziyi is understandable. After all, I really can't compare to the Shiziyi. If Yun can live a good life with the Shiziyi in the future, I will also be happy in my heart." Tian Wenhan said this to the Wu clan, and also to Zhao Yun. Although he was a little sad that the woman he loved was with another man, he still hoped that Zhao Yun could live a good life and that Zhao Yun could be happy. If he couldn't give it to her, at least there were other men who could help her. Tian Wenhan's gaze fell on Zhao Yun. He was nervous, but he was reluctant to look away. No matter how reluctant he was, he had to leave. "Yun'er, sorry for disturbing you today. My mother and I shouldn't have come. I wish you and the crown prince a long and happy life together." Tian Wenhan left these words as if he was remembering something. Then he turned around and pulled Tian Shuai-nyo and the Wu clan. "Dad, Mom, let's go. Don't embarrass yourself here." "Yes, yes, yes. Wenhan's mother, let's hurry up and leave." The Wu clan had no choice but to leave. They followed Tian Wenhan and Tian Shuai-nyo out of Zhao Yun'er's courtyard. On the way, the Wu clan looked for Tian Wenhan again to confirm. "Wenhan, do you think that person is an imposter? How could he be the crown prince?" Tian Wenhan's face was full of sadness. He said helplessly, "Mom, if someone impersonates the crown prince, they will be beheaded." Who would dare to impersonate him? Hearing that he would be beheaded, the Wu clan quickly shut up. Indeed, no one dared to joke about this. However, she was still shocked and uncomfortable. Not only did they make a trip for nothing, but they also returned with a belly full of anger. Today, the third branch of the Zhao family was obviously arrogant in front of the Tian family. Speaking of which, that Yun'er girl is really not human. The Wu clan pushed the blame to Zhao Yun'er. Tian Wenhan frowned and said helplessly, "Mom, how could this have anything to do with Yun'er?" Chapter 1931. Tian Wenhan was silent for a moment. He thought of Mu Lianfeng, that tall and upright man. Whether it was status, appearance, or attitude toward Zhao Yun, he was much better than him. How could he compare with Mu Lianfeng? Regardless of whether Zhao Yun had a change of heart or not, choosing Mu Lianfeng was definitely the best. As a man, he could tell from the way Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yun that he was sincere about her. Wasn't it a blessing for Zhao Yun that a person of such noble status could be like this? He felt ashamed in front of Mu Lianfeng. How could he extravagantly ask Zhao Yun to trust Mu Lianfeng and choose to be with him? In the end, he was the one who let Zhao Yun down in the past. Originally, he came here today to see if he would have this opportunity, but now it seemed impossible. He relied on their friendship in the past and thought that Zhao Yun might still like him and might consider him. Today, he came here to see everything clearly, so he naturally gave up. Therefore, in the face of Wu Clan's words, Tian Wenhan said with a cold face, "Mother, don't say that. Our Tian family let Yun down in the past. It's been a few years. Isn't it natural for Yun to find a better husband? Why do you continue to wait for me? You're protecting that girl. I don't see you showing any mercy in the past." Before Wu Clan could continue to nag, Tian Wenhan replied, "Mother, if you continue, I'll get angry." Tian Shuai-nyo hurriedly patted Wu Clan's back. Okay, Wenhan's mother, don't say any more. Don't you think it's embarrassing enough?" Wu Clan finally shut up, her face full of hidden bitterness. After the Tian Wenhan family left, the people of the third branch acted as if they had driven away the plague. Zhao Wenhuo grumbled, "This Tian family is really inhumane. Why did they have to come to our house to cause trouble? Sigh, it's good that they're gone. It's a good thing that young Master Shitzi is here. Otherwise, who knows what kind of joke our family will be. Yes. It's all thanks to the Crown Prince." Mu Lianfeng helped Zhao Yun and Dao De back to their room. He didn't expect that Zhao Yun had been engaged to another man before. Thinking about it, if it wasn't because Zhao Yun was pregnant with Dao De, it was estimated that Zhao Yun and Tian Wenhan would be together. Mu Lianfeng secretly rejoiced. He really couldn't imagine that his Yuner had become another man's wife. Perhaps what happened before was God's arrangement. Otherwise, he was afraid that he wouldn't be able to find another woman to love like Zhao Yuner in this lifetime. Soon, it was the day to go to Shitzi Manor. Before going, Zhao Yuner was a little nervous and worried. She was afraid that Matriarch Mu didn't like her. After all, Matriarch Mu was Mu Lianfeng's biological grandmother. If Matriarch Mu could accept her, it would reduce the conflict between grandfather and grandson. She wouldn't add to Mu Lianfeng's worries because of her. Zhao Yuner dressed up early in the morning. She took off the coarse clothes that she usually wore and changed into an exquisite silk dress. This dress was made of the cloth sent by the emperor, so she was dressed very luxuriously. She combed her hair into a bun and wore jewelry that the emperor gave her. After dressing up, Zhao Yuner added a bit of nobility to her body. Although her appearance wasn't the best, it was still delicate and made people feel comfortable looking at her. Chapter 1932. Bringing their things, the family of three rushed to the Shitzi mansion. Mu Lianfeng had sent a message to old Madame Mu, saying that he was going back to accompany her for the festival. Early in the morning, old Madame Mu and the servants of the Shitzi mansion were waiting for Mu Lianfeng's return at the door. Because of the imperial court matters, Mu Lianfeng was using this as an excuse to not return to the Shitzi mansion. Grandfather and grandson had not been together for a long time. As one grew older, they naturally hoped that their grandchildren could be by their side. In addition, old Madame Mu only had one relative, Mu Lianfeng, so she missed him even more. When she heard that Mu Lianfeng was going back to the Shitzi mansion to celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival, old Madame Mu was very excited. Early in the morning, she brought the servants to wait at the door. At about 8:00 in the morning, the carriage slowly stopped at the door of the Shitzi mansion. Mu Lianfeng walked out of the carriage first. Before old Madame Mu could greet him excitedly, she saw two more people coming out of the carriage. One was Zhao Yun, and the other was Dao De. Old Madame Mu was very familiar with Dao De and liked this child even more. When she first saw Dao De, she felt a sense of closeness. As for Zhao Yun, old Madame Mu did not recognize her at first glance because this time, Zhao Yun, was very different from the last time. After observing Zhao Yun's appearance, old Madame Mu was able to determine who Zhao Yun was. Grandma. After Mu Yanfeng helped Zhao Yun and Dao down, he turned to old Madame Mu and called out to her. Old Madame Mu came back to her senses and grabbed Mu Yanfeng's hand. Feng, you're finally back. Grandma missed you so much. Mu Yanfeng's nose twitched. How could he not miss her? No matter what, old Madame Mu was his biological grandmother. She had raised him single-handedly. It was not matriarch Mu's objection to Zhao Yun. How could he bear to leave for such a long time? Grandma, Feng, misses you too. Mu Yanfeng choked with sobs. Old Madame Mu patted Mu Yanfeng's hand and said, "It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. Hurry up and enter the mansion. Grandma has prepared your favorite dishes. You haven't eaten since you came back so early in the morning, right?" Mu Yanfeng responded but did not rush into the mansion. Instead, he pulled Zhao Yun and Daoda's hands and said to old Madame Mu, "Grandma, I brought Yun and Daoda back." Speaking of Zhao Yun old Madame Mu frowned slightly. It was obvious that she still did not like Zhao Yun After glancing at Zhao Yun indifferently, she asked Mu Yanfeng, "Feng, why did you bring this woman back?" Before Mu Yanfeng could answer, Daoda took a step forward and put on his signature smile. He looked at old Madame Mu and said softly, "Great-grandmother, Daoda and mother are here to celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival with his grandmother. Great-grandmother, don't you want Daoda and mother to come?" Old Madame Mu took a look at the delicate baby. His face was not much different from Mu Yanfeng's. She liked him very much. In addition, Daoda's smile was really irresistible. Old Madame Mu's heart melted for a moment. Her displeasure towards Zhao Yun dissipated a lot because of Daoda. Chapter 1933. Daoda raised his cute little face and asked, "Great-grandmother, do you miss Daoda these days?" Old Madame Mu hurriedly said, "Yes, of course I do. Daoda is so obedient and cute. How can great-grandmother not miss you?" Daoda continued to smile sweetly and fawn over old Madame Mu. "Daoda misses great-grandmother too." Ha! Old Madame Mu was in a good mood. She was amused by Daoda and smiled. She beckoned Daoda to come to her. "Daoda, come here. Let great-grandmother take a look at you." Daoda obediently went to old Madame Mu. "Oh, I haven't seen you for a while. Daoda has indeed grown a lot taller. You're not as thin as before. This is good, this is not good." Old Madame Mu's eyes were full of the love of an elder to a junior. She did not hide her love for Daoda. Zhao Yun guessed that it was because of their blood relationship. Old Madame Mu did not know that Daoda was her great-grandson, but she liked Daoda very much. Daoda smiled and looked at Zhao Yun. Then, he said to old Madame Mu, "Great-grandmother, Daoda can grow taller and fatter because of mother. Mother cooks delicious food for Daoda every day. If you eat well, you will naturally grow well." Daoda could not stop talking about Zhao Yun. Although he was a child, he knew how to make Zhao Yun have a good impression of him in front of old Madame Mu. Zhao Yun knew her precious son's little idea. She sighed in her heart that she did not raise him in vain. He was her biological son after all. Old Madame Mu glanced at Zhao Yun, and her expression became better. She patted Daoda's head and said, "It's natural for your mother to take care of you. Otherwise, she would not be qualified. Great-grandmother, that's right. Mother's cooking is really delicious. It's better than ordinary people's cooking. Great-grandmother, do you want to try mother's cooking? I'm sure you'll like it too." When it came to Daoda, old Madame Mu realized that she could not reject him at all. This child's words and smile were too contagious. It was very likable. Old Madame Mu replied with a smile, "All right, then I'll have to trouble you to cook some of your best dishes for me to try." "Yes, yes." Daoda nodded heavily in response. Originally, Zhao Yun felt awkward facing old Madame Mu. Now, Because of Daodu's mediation, the atmosphere was much more harmonious. Alright, let's go in. Grandma, don't stand for too long. Your legs and feet are not good. It will hurt if you stand for too long. Mu Yanfeng said considerately. Old Madame Mu nodded. She held Daodu's hand with one hand and walked into the house with the other. Mu Yanfeng smiled gently at Zhao Yun. Then, he held Zhao Yun's hand and walked into the house. Mu Yanfeng leaned close to Zhao Yun's ear and whispered, Yun, look, Grandma likes Daodu so much. If she knows that Daodu is her biological grandson, she will definitely be very happy and agree to our marriage. Zhao Yun knew that Mu Yanfeng was just comforting her. Old Mistress Mu had yet to speak, so everything was still unknown. They entered the house and sat at the table to eat breakfast. Old Madame Mu prepared a lot of delicious food. However, Zhao Yun did not want to eat too greasy food early in the morning, so she picked the bland food and ate a little. However, old Madame Mu found it interesting. Chapter 1934. Zhao Yun hurriedly said, No. Then why don't I see Miss Xiao eating? Isn't it not to your liking? Old Madame Mu's tone was a little unhappy. Zhao Yun's heart was very tired. She just ate a little less, and she didn't deliberately not eat. Now she was full, but in old Madame Mu's eyes, she deliberately didn't eat. Old Madam, I like to eat light food in the morning. I can't swallow big fish and meat. It's not that I didn't eat just now. I ate some light food. Zhao Yun explained. Thinking about it, it was better not to argue with an old lady. After all, she was Mu Yanfeng's grandmother. Old Madame Mu's temper was a little bad. She did not need to argue over such a small matter. However, old Madame Mu snorted softly and said, This is the first time I heard that a villager can't swallow big fish and meat. Is Miss Xiao not a villager? Or is she different from other villagers? Being questioned by old Madame Mu, Zhao Yun did not know how to answer. Could it be that she had to say that she was different from other villagers? In fact, no matter how she answered, old Madame Mu would not be satisfied. Because old Madame Mu was the troublemaker. She was not satisfied with her as a person and did not care about her explanation. Mu Yanfeng frowned and looked at Zhao Yun with heartache. He hurriedly said to old Madame Mu, Grandma, Yun does like to eat light food in the morning. She has always been used to it. Moreover, although Yun is in the countryside, she usually eats a lot of fish and meat. Old Madame Mu did not believe it. How can a villager eat a lot of fish and meat? Feng did you take the money for her family to spend? Grandma, don't make wild guesses about Yun Everything was earned by Yun herself. Feng did not help at all. Yun is a very hardworking woman. She led a poor family to live a rich life, which is something that ordinary women can't do. Mu Yanfeng's tone was full of praise for Zhao Yun but old Mistress Mu snorted softly. She did not put Zhao Yun in her eyes. Great-grandmother, mother is really amazing. Just like what father said, if great-grandmother could stay with mother for a while, she would definitely fall in love with mother. Daodu tugged at old Madame Mu's sleeve. Looking at the sensible and adorable Daodu, old Madame Mu liked him the most. She couldn't figure out how a country bumpkin like Zhao Yun could give birth to such an outstanding and adorable child. It was a pity that Daodu was only Mu Yanfeng's son. If he was really Mu Yanfeng's biological son, how great would it be? Old Madame Mu sighed, then looked at Mu Yanfeng and said to Mu Yanfeng, Feng, our Mu family has few children. You have to work hard and strive to let grandma hold a grandson as soon as possible. Give birth to a cute child like Daodu. Grandma probably won't live for long. I hope that when I'm still alive, I can see the scene of 4 generations living under the same roof. Mu Yanfeng was silent for a while, then said, Grandma, this time, in addition to accompanying you to celebrate the Dragon Boat Festival, I also have good news to tell you. You will be very happy after hearing it. Old Madame Mu asked curiously, Oh. What good news does Feng want to tell me? Grandma, Daodu is my biological son, your biological great-grandson. Chapter 1935. Mu Yanfeng repeated himself. Grandma, I said that Daodu is my son, your great-grandson. Daodu is the blood of our Mu family. Old Madame Mu's eyes were full of shock. She asked in disbelief, Feng, are you sure you're not mistaken? Is Daodu really my great-grandson? Mu Yanfeng answered with a smile. Grandma, Feng naturally wouldn't be mistaken. After all, it's related to our Mu family's bloodline. Old Madame Mu then looked at Zhao Yun, in confusion. But isn't Daodu Miss Xiao's son? How did he become the blood of our Mu family? The relationship between the two was a little complicated. Old Madame Mu couldn't figure it out. She was afraid that Mu Yanfeng would make a mistake when he tried to figure it out. Mu Yanfeng explained patiently, Grandma, Daodu is Yun's son. He's also Feng's son. Mu Yanfeng recounted the things that happened at the beginning. He accidentally got into Zhao Yun's belly. As a result, Zhao Yun had got pregnant out of wedlock. Everyone looked down on her, and it was very difficult for her to take care of Daodu at first. After listening to Mu Yanfeng, old Madame Mu was naturally very excited. It turned out that Zhao Yun had got pregnant out of wedlock and did something out of line. She thought that it was Zhao Yun's personal behavior that caused her to have a problem with Zhao Yun. This time, Zhao Yun had made a great contribution to the Mu family by giving birth to Daodu. Thinking that the Mu family finally had a child to carry on the ancestral line, old Madame Mu couldn't calm down. She was wondering why she felt an inexplicable sense of closeness to Daodu. It turned out that he was a child of the Mu family. Matriarch Mu had no doubts about Daodu's identity. The more she looked at Daodu, the more she felt that Daodu looked very similar to Mu Yanfeng when he was young. They were completely cast from the same mold. With such similar facial features, no one would suspect that Daodu was Mu Yanfeng's biological son. She used to hope day and night that Mu Yanfeng would have an heir. She didn't expect that God had already heard her call and left a descendant for the Mu family. Old Madame Mu smiled and touched Daodu's little face with her old hands. She cherished Daodu even more. Thinking of how Daodu had suffered with Zhao Yun in the past few years, and how the Mu family's bloodline had wandered outside without any dignity, old Madame Mu felt even more upset. Fortunately, he could recognize his ancestors now. In the future, she would let this great-grandson enjoy himself and make up for all the pain he had suffered before. God has opened his eyes. Feng, this is really good news for Grandma. Old Madame Mu wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes with a handkerchief. Mu Yanfeng comforted her, Grandma, don't cry. It's a happy thing for us to have 4 generations under the same roof. Our Mu family will have other heirs in the future. Everything will get better and better. Old Madame Mu nodded in agreement. Seeing that old Madame Mu was happy, Mu Yanfeng hurriedly said to old Madame Mu, Grandma, it's all thanks to Yun that we can have heirs now. Old Madame Mu glanced at Zhao Yun. Although she didn't want to admit it, she knew that Zhao Yun had done a good job for the Mu family. It's her blessing to be able to give birth to our Mu family. Old Madame Mu said. Chapter 1936. Mu Yanfeng took the opportunity to say this directly. But old Madame Mu frowned and was silent for a moment. Zhao Yun, giving birth to a son for the Mu family was one thing, but it was another to let Mu Yanfeng marry Zhao Yun, No matter what, the Mu family was a prestigious family, and Mu Yanfeng was the current Shitzi. If he wanted to marry a wife, he couldn't just do it casually. If he wanted to marry, he naturally had to marry a daughter of a well-matched family. A country woman like Zhao Yun, was completely unworthy of Mu Yanfeng. So old Madame Mu said, Feng, you should know that marrying a wife requires a well-matched family. Miss Xiao's status is too low. She can't even be your concubine, let alone marry her. Mu Yanfeng suddenly became anxious and hurriedly said, but Grandma, Yun, gave birth to a child for me. No matter what, I have to give Yun, a status, right? Otherwise, Yun will only continue to suffer from rumors and slanders. How can I watch Yun suffer like this? Old Madame Mu was silent for a moment. She knew that Mu Yanfeng's words were not without reason. Since Xiao Yun gave birth to the Mu family's son, the mother's status depended on the son. No matter what, she had to give a status. But to let Mu Yanfeng marry Xiao Yun, she really didn't like Xiao Yun. How could a country woman be the master of the Shizi mansion? If this spread out, there would be people who would laugh at the Shizi mansion for marrying such a daughter-in-law. She was a person who cared about her face and couldn't put it down. Seeing that he couldn't persuade old Madame Mu, Mu Yanfeng could only say to old Madame Mu, "Grandma, actually, Yun and I have already been married by the emperor, and Yun was conferred the title of imperial madam." Mu Yanfeng said as he took out the imperial edict issued by the emperor and handed it to old Madame Mu for her to take a look. Old Madame Mu didn't expect Xiao Yun to be so capable that even the emperor personally bestowed a marriage for them. Not knowing whether it was true or not, old Madame Mu took a few more glances at the imperial edict and did not see any problems. "Feng, what's going on? Why would His Majesty bestow a marriage upon you?" In fact, old Madame Mu couldn't understand why the emperor would agree to Mu Yanfeng marrying Xiao Yun, a country bumpkin. Mu Yanfeng then recounted all of Xiao Yun's contributions. Because she had helped the court with a major matter, the emperor had bestowed the title of imperial madam to Xiao Yun as a reward. At the same time, he had bestowed her with a marriage to Mu Yanfeng. Now that there was an imperial edict and even the emperor was involved, even if old Madame Mu wanted to object, she didn't dare to openly disobey the imperial edict. Since His Majesty has given the imperial edict, then Feng, you must marry Miss Xiao. Old Madame Mu said. Mu Yanfeng's mouth hooked up a smile. He finally felt relieved in his heart. Fortunately, he got old Madame Mu's approval. However, in the next second, he couldn't smile anymore. Old Madame Mu said, "Feng, His Majesty only said to let you marry Miss Xiao. He didn't say whether you would marry her as a wife or a concubine. In my opinion, it's better to let Yun be a concubine. She is originally a country bumpkin. It's her great fortune to be able to be a concubine of Shiziyi. It's absolutely impossible for her to be a wife." Xiao Yun's face suddenly darkened. It turned out that she still couldn't enter old Madame Mu's eyes. Be a concubine? Chapter 1937. As a normal person from the 21st century, he could not bear this kind of grievance. Mu Yanfeng's face darkened as well. He asked Madame Mu, "Grandmother, I will only marry Yun. If that's the case, why is Yun only a concubine and not a wife?" Madame Mu patted the back of Mu Yanfeng's hand and said, "Feng, I think you're confused. Your cousin has admired you for a long time and wants to marry into our Mu family. She has a noble status and is my biological granddaughter, so the position of the wife can only be hers." Speaking of Mu Yanfeng's cousin, she came to see Madame Mu not long ago and revealed that she was only willing to marry Mu Yanfeng in this lifetime. Madame Mu was originally very fond of this biological niece, so such a request was immediately satisfied. Madame Mu promised Murong Shuang that she would definitely let Mu Yanfeng marry her and make her the current princess consort. Since she had promised Murong Shuang, Madame Mu would definitely not let Mu Yanfeng marry Xiao Yun as the wife. However, Mu Yanfeng's face was cold as he flatly refused, "Grandmother, I'm heartless towards cousin. I will never marry her in this lifetime." Madame Mu scolded a little angrily, "Feng, the parents' orders are the words of the matchmaker. Since your father has passed away, your marriage will naturally be decided by grandmother. If I let you marry Shuang, then you must marry her." Mu Yanfeng angrily questioned, "Grandmother, why do you like to force your grandson to do things that he doesn't like to do? If I marry cousin, I will only harm her. To her, I only have a brotherly relationship and have no romantic feelings. How do you want me to face her?" Madame Mu stubbornly said, "Feng, Shuang, has feelings for you, so you must treat her well and marry her. You're rejecting everything now, isn't it just for a little peasant woman like Xiao Yun, How can this peasant woman compare to Shuang's status?" You and Shuang are well matched. As for Miss Xiao, she could only be a concubine. Could it be that you want Shuang to be your concubine? Mu Lianfeng clenched his fists and suppressed the anger in his heart. He really could not understand why old Madame Mu was so stubborn. If he really wanted Zhao Yuner to be his concubine, why did he spend so much effort to get the emperor to grant the marriage? With Dao Du as her own son, even without the emperor's permission, it would be easy for Zhao Yun to become a concubine. Grandmother, Yun was betrothed by His Majesty, and His Majesty conferred her the title of Imperial Madam. If His Majesty knows that Yun is only going to be my concubine, he will definitely investigate this matter. Perhaps our Shitzi manor will also be investigated. Then let's put the wedding aside. Grandmother will ask His Majesty for instructions later. Wait until the emperor says that she must be the legal wife. Otherwise, before the emperor says anything, the position of the legal wife can only be left to Shuang. Old Madame Mu's attitude was very stiff. She did not give in at all. Zhao Yun sat quietly and did not speak. Mu Lianfeng almost exploded. If it weren't for the fact that he was afraid that arguing would affect Matriarch Mu's health and that Matriarch Mu wouldn't be able to take it, Mu Lianfeng would have argued long ago. He really did not understand why Zhao Yun could not be compared to other women except for her status. Everyone's birth was different. It was not up to them to decide. Why did they have to talk about this? Chapter 1938. Grandma, why are you doing this? Yun and I love each other. Yun even gave birth to a child for me. She has suffered so much over the years. What's the big deal about giving her the title of legal wife? This is the reason why I came back today to discuss this matter with grandmother. If grandmother doesn't agree, I won't take another wife in the future. Mu Lianfeng expressed his attitude. At this moment, in addition to anger, he also felt guilty towards Zhao Yun. After so long, he still couldn't give her a formal title. What kind of man was he? As a man, he should protect the woman he loved well. Old Madame Mu also said sullenly, Feng, you are becoming more and more disobedient. When you were young, you could listen to grandma's words. Now you don't listen to me at all, do you? Mu Lianfeng lowered his head. Grandma, Feng can listen to you on other matters, but there is absolutely no room for discussion on this matter. If I want to marry, Feng will only marry Yun. Dao Du saw the battle between Mu Lianfeng and old Madame Mu and hurriedly said to old Madame Mu, Great-grandma. Do you not like Dao Du? If mother can't be the legal wife, will Dao Du only be a concubine's son in the future? Will he be looked down upon? Meeting Dao Du's innocent little eyes, old Madame Mu's heart trembled. She looked at Dao Du with some heartache and said to Dao Du, Silly child, how can that be? Great-grandma will let you be adopted under the legal wife's name. You will still be the legitimate son of our Shitzi mansion. Dao Du, however, had a bitter expression on his face as he replied in an aggrieved manner, but great-grandmother, Dao Du wants to stay by Nyangqin's side. I don't want to be adopted by others. This. Old Madame Mu's face was full of embarrassment. On one side was her biological granddaughter, and on the other side was her biological great-grandson. She didn't want either of them to be wronged. But now, she couldn't make such a choice. Cough, cough, cough. Perhaps it was because her blood was attacking her heart, Matriarch Mu coughed violently. Grandma, what's wrong with you? Mu Lianfeng's heart suddenly tightened, and he hurriedly asked. Old Madame Mu used a handkerchief to wipe her mouth. Who knew that it would bleed? At the sight of blood, Mu Lianfeng frowned worriedly. It seemed that the situation was too serious. Old Madame Mu continued to cough a few more times as if she could not catch her breath. Mu Lianfeng hurriedly asked the servants to find a doctor for old Madame Mu to see what was wrong with her. As for Zhao Yuner, she was also a little worried as she watched from the side. Zhao Yuner whispered to Mu Lianfeng, let's not argue about our marriage for the time being. Otherwise, Grandma will continue to cough up blood and her condition will only worsen. Mu Lianfeng looked at Zhao Yuner guiltily. He had no choice but to agree. Okay, we'll talk about it when we have the chance. Yun'er. I'm sorry. Zhao Yun'er smiled faintly and said, you don't have to apologize to me. You didn't do anything wrong. It was old Madame Mu who disagreed with their marriage. Mu Yanfeng had been actively fighting for it. In addition, Mu Yanfeng's words just now, at least she knew that Mu Yanfeng was sincere. Now that the situation was like this, she didn't want to give Mu Yanfeng too much pressure. In front of her and his only family, Zhao Yun'er knew that it was difficult for Mu Yanfeng to make a choice. Chapter 1939. Now that she was together with Mu Yanfeng, she believed that the issue of status could be resolved. Seeing that Zhao Yun'er was so considerate, Mu Yanfeng felt even more guilty. Wasn't it his fortune to be able to spend time with such a woman in this life? No matter what, he would never let her down in this life. Grandma, are you okay? Mu Yanfeng asked with concern. He stepped forward and reached out to pat old Madame Mu's back. The nanny who was waiting on the side said, young master, old Madame's health is getting worse these days. Don't make old Madame angry. The doctor who treated old Madame before said that old Madame can't be agitated, otherwise it's easy to have this kind of situation. Mu Yanfeng's eyebrows were tightly knitted together. He was very worried about old Madame Mu. He didn't expect old Madame to become like this. Although old Madame's health was not good before, it was not to this extent. It was all because he was not in the Shitzi mansion these days and cared too little about old Madame. It's okay, it's okay. Feng, Grandma is fine. Don't worry. Old Madame Mu was afraid that Mu Yanfeng would be worried, so she grabbed Mu Yanfeng's hand and comforted him. Then she said a few words with difficulty and began to cough violently again. Mu Yanfeng was more distressed. Thinking that his marriage with Zhao Yun'er seemed to have to be delayed again, who knew what would happen if old Madame's mood fluctuated again. Grandma, Feng will help you back to rest. Mu Yanfeng said. Then he helped old Madame Mu into the room to rest. Zhao Yun'er followed behind with Daodu. Although she didn't like this stubborn old madam, she knew that even if they quarreled, they had to look for the right time. After a while, the doctor was invited back. Old Madame Mu was fine. It was just the illness she had before. Like what the nanny said, she couldn't be agitated. She just needed to take care of her body. It was normal for old people to have poor health. Sometimes, it was not something that could be cured with medicine. For the next 2 days in the Shitzi manor, Mu Yanfeng did not mention anything about marriage. Instead, it was Madame Mu who tried her best to persuade Mu Yanfeng to marry Murong Shuang. This made Mu Yanfeng extremely embarrassed. In order to let old Madame Mu calm down, Mu Yanfeng could only delay. He did not quarrel with old Madame Mu or oppose too much. Zhao Yun'er was the most uncomfortable person in the past few days. Old Madame Mu's dislike of her made her feel awkward. Obviously, the Shitzi family also acted according to the person. They didn't like her, a country girl with no status and no status. Instead, they were secretly gossiping behind Zhao Yun'er's back. After the Dragon Boat Festival, Zhao Yun'er did not want to stay any longer. Living in a big courtyard was not as comfortable as living in the countryside. It would be fine if the people here weren't bad, but how could she live comfortably when she was the one being targeted? Yun'er. It's my fault. I've wronged you. Mu Yanfeng came back at night. When he heard about Zhao Yun'er's situation, he apologized to Zhao Yun'er. Looking into Mu Yanfeng's eyes, even if Zhao Yun'er felt wronged, she swallowed it in her heart. It's okay. This has nothing to do with you. Sigh. Mu Yanfeng sighed heavily. Yun'er, blame me for being useless. I can't give you anything. Chapter 1940. Yun'er, I still have to give you a status as soon as possible and let everyone know that you are my wife, Mu Yanfeng's only wife. Mu Yanfeng said seriously. These are all formalities. You know that I don't care. Zhao Yun'er comforted him. She didn't want to put too much pressure on Mu Yanfeng. old Madame Mu didn't agree to give her the status of legal wife. Mu Yanfeng had a much harder time mediating things than she did. On the one hand, he couldn't hurt old Madame Mu. On the other hand, he felt that he couldn't wrong her. Yun, you don't care, but as your husband, I have to give you what you deserve. Mu Yanfeng held Zhao Yun's hand and said seriously. Zhao Yun smiled and said, believe me, we will fight for what we are pursuing now. Yes. Mu Yanfeng held Zhao Yun in his arms. He didn't know what to say. He could only tell himself that he couldn't let her down. Old Madame's body was fine after a few days of recuperation. Because of Daoda's company, old Madame smiled more these days. No matter how low Zhao Yun's status was, Daoda was the legitimate descendant of Shizi Mansion. Especially when Shizi Mansion didn't have many children, Daoda was more favored in Shizi Mansion. Because of his cute appearance and Daoda's sweet mouth, everyone in Shizi Mansion didn't like Zhao Yun, but they liked Daoda very much. Young master, if you can give birth to a few more children to accompany old Madame, she will be happier. Old Madame's mood was much better these days with the company of little Shizi. She smiled more, and her body and complexion looked much better. This is more effective than taking any medicine. The nanny serving old Madame Mu said to Mu Yanfeng with a gratified expression. When old Madame Mu heard this, she went to Mu Yanfeng and said, Feng can work hard and give birth to a few more children for our Shizi Mansion. In the past few generations of the Crown Prince's manor, they had few heirs and did not have much popularity. Feng was young now, and it was a good time to have children. I have to take this opportunity to have a few more. Mu Yanfeng pursed his lips. Giving birth to a child wasn't something that could be done just because one wanted to. Besides, giving birth to a child was the most difficult thing for a woman. Sometimes, it might even be life-threatening. Therefore, he didn't want Zhao Yun to take the risk and give birth to too many children for him. Everything was up to fate. If the child really came, she wouldn't reject it. She would give birth to it, but she definitely wouldn't deliberately give birth to it. In the end, compared to the child, he loved Zhao Yun more. The child was the product of their love. It was impossible to let Zhao Yun become a childbearing machine for him. Grandmother, it's good enough to have one child. How can we give birth to a few more? Mu Yanfeng replied weakly. Old Madame Mu said calmly, why not? When you and Shuang get married, Shuang is still young and will definitely get pregnant. Later, our Shizi Mansion will take in a few more concubines. You should work hard and work hard. You will have children naturally. Grandmother. Mu Yanfeng called out in a low voice. It was bad enough that she wanted him to marry Murong Shuang, but now she wanted to help him take in a few more concubines. If it was really like this, how could he face Zhao Yun? Chapter 1941. What can I do for you, old madam? Zhao Yun asked respectfully. Since you and Feng will be together in the future, you have to think about giving birth to more children for our Mu family. Only in this way can you make up for the gap in your status. After all, it's already a great blessing for a peasant woman like you to be able to marry into our Shizi manor. If you can't even do this well, what's the use of having you come here? Zhao Yun listened to old Madame Mu's words and felt extremely uncomfortable. What the hell did she take her for? She had no value if she didn't have children. Who said so and set such a rule? If the meaning of her existence was really only to have children, then she wouldn't have married Mu Yanfeng. She would rather have no status than to let her life be controlled by others. Seeing that Zhao Yun didn't speak, old Madame Mu asked with some displeasure, what's with your attitude? Don't you know how to respond when I'm talking to you? Country people are country people. How can a daughter of a rich family know etiquette? Feng do you see it now? Only a girl like Shuang is worthy of you. Mu Yanfeng's face sank. He looked at Zhao Yun with heartache and explained to old Madame Mu, Grandma, can you not talk about high and low status? What did Yun not do well? You said that she didn't want to do it. How can she answer? Old Madame Mu was not convinced and replied, she didn't want to do it. She didn't want to give birth to more children for our Mu family. She doesn't understand what a woman's duty is. Isn't it to give birth to children for her husband's family? Feng do you mean this woman's attitude is reasonable? Grandma, why do you always target Yun You said that Yun-er's status is not good. No matter what, she is the imperial madam personally conferred by the emperor. With this status, she is absolutely worthy of me. But her birth is not good. Her education since childhood is not good enough. Feng people's education is from childhood to adulthood. Even if the emperor conferred her the title of imperial madam, so what? Can her education be improved all of a sudden? Grandma, ouch, I have a headache. Seeing that Mu Yanfeng still wanted to argue, old Madame Mu quickly rubbed her forehead and shouted. Mu Yanfeng had no choice but to shut up. Zhao Yun looked at the old lady who couldn't do it and said coldly, Old Madam, I'm not feeling well. I want to go back and rest. Please forgive me if I'm not considerate. With that, Zhao Yun turned and left old Madame Mu's courtyard. Mu Yanfeng glanced at Zhao Yun's back as she left. He knew that Zhao Yun must be angry now. It was normal for a woman to feel uncomfortable after being put in such a difficult position. But old Madame Mu pointed at Zhao Yun with dissatisfaction, Feng, you see, AI, that woman is not worthy of you, not worthy of marrying into our Shitzi Fu. Grandma, no matter if she is worthy or not, the only person I like in my heart is Yun. You are bewitched by her. I don't know what kind of bewitching potion she gave you. You treasure a country woman like this. Shuang brought a letter back. She will come to visit me in 2 days. At that time, you two brother and sister should have a good relationship. Try to accept Shuang. You will find that Shuang is much better than that country woman. Chapter 1942. Yes, what's wrong? Old Madame Mu raised her eyebrows and asked. Mu Yanfeng thought of his cousin's arrogant and domineering personality. If she came back, she would definitely pester him. Most importantly, she did not get along with Zhao Yun. When the time came, who knew what would happen? Therefore, he did not want to meet Murong Shuang, nor did he want Zhao Yun to meet Murong Shuang. Grandmother. I was planning to go back tomorrow, so when cousin comes, I might not be in the residence. Mu Yanfeng replied awkwardly. Old Madame Mu could not help but ask, you're in such a hurry to leave? Mu Yanfeng nodded and said, yes, there's no other way. Grandmother, you also know that the emperor's orders can't be delayed. If anything goes wrong and the emperor blames us, our entire residence might suffer a calamity. Hearing Mu Yanfeng's words, old Madame Mu frowned. Mu Yanfeng purposely made the situation sound more serious, so that old Madame Mu did not dare to let Mu Yanfeng not go back. After all, they were working for the emperor. If they did not do a good job and the emperor blames them, no one could bear the consequences. Mu Yanfeng was different from before. Now, he had learned how to lie. Moreover, when he lied, his face did not turn red and his heart did not skip a beat. It seems that we can't not go back. Sigh, but it's not easy for Shuang to come back. Grandmother, you just have to treat her well. Didn't she come to see you this time? Mu Yanfeng replied indifferently. Old Madame Mu sighed and said, although that girl said she came to see me, she actually came to see you. She has an ulterior motive. Grandmother, there's no other way. I have to go back. Now, I have to put the nation's affairs first and do good things for the emperor. Old Madame Mu could only say, okay. You're right. You're still young. Our residence receives a salary from the imperial court and should do good things for the imperial court. Since that's the case, Feng, you should go back tomorrow. If you have time, come back to see Grandma more often, okay? Mu Yanfeng nodded heavily and said, I know, Grandma. Don't worry, grandson will definitely come back to see you when he has time. That's good. Old Madame Mu held Mu Yanfeng's hand and said reluctantly. However, Mu Yanfeng wanted to come back, but at the same time, he didn't want to come back. The reason he didn't want to come back was because he was afraid that Zhao Yun would be wronged again. However, if he did not come back, he would have to abandon old Madame Mu. Old Madame Mu was already so old and her health was not good. As her grandson, he actually could not be filial to her. He felt very guilty. After weighing the pros and cons, Mu Yanfeng realized that he cared more about Zhao Yun. Even if she could not accompany old Madame Mu, she would never let Zhao Yun be wronged. Although it was a little selfish, there was nothing he could do about it. By the way, Feng, it's okay if you and Miss Xiao go back. But can you let Dao stay in the residence and follow behind Grandma? This. Mu Yanfeng's face was full of embarrassment. He knew that Zhao Yun'er and Dao's deep mother-son relationship was inseparable. Old Madame Mu hurriedly said, Feng, you know that Grandma usually stays in the residence alone. If you leave, I want to have a companion. Grandma likes Dao very much. Let him stay by Grandma's side. He can also tease me. There will be something happy in my life. Chapter 1943. But grandmother, Dao is used to living in the countryside. He's used to being with me and Yun, I'm afraid that he won't be used to it if Yun, and I leave him alone in the residence. Old Madame Mu hurriedly replied, how can he not be used to it? How can the conditions in our residence be worse than those in the countryside? Dao can eat, drink, and sleep well in the residence. He doesn't want to live a good life. Is he prepared to live a hard life? Grandmother. Although the conditions in the residence are better, the child is still young. He wants to stay by his parents' side. Mu Yanfeng couldn't help but persuade her. I see. Old Madame Mu murmured. Finally, she said, why don't we let Miss Xiao stay in the residence? If she stays by Dao's side, Dao won't feel uncomfortable, right? Mu Yanfeng left this time because he didn't want Zhao Yun to feel awkward staying in the residence. If Zhao Yun stayed, what was the point? If he wasn't in the residence and Zhao Yun was there, Murong Shuang might come over and treat Zhao Yun unruly. In order to protect Zhao Yun from being wronged, he couldn't let Zhao Yun stay in the residence alone. Grandmother, Yun is used to living in the countryside. She doesn't feel comfortable living in the residence. Her parents are also in the countryside, so she wants to go back with me. Old Madame Mu immediately said unhappily, Feng, aren't you giving in to her too much? She's not used to living in the residence now. If she marries here in the future, won't she still live here? If she's not used to it, she can slowly get used to it. Unless she never enters the residence again. Mu Yanfeng sighed. Great, he was tossed back into the residence again. Seeing that old Madame Mu was about to get angry, Mu Yanfeng gently persuaded, Grandmother, Yun hasn't married yet. If she stays in the residence for a long time before she marries, it'll be hard to avoid gossip. Wait until Yun marries here. This, Grandma, it's decided then. I know you like Dao. When I have time, I'll bring Dao over to visit you. As Mu Yanfeng spoke, he stood up to leave. He was afraid that old Madame Mu would say something. Grandma, rest well. I won't disturb you any longer. Feng, No matter how old Madame Mu called out to him, Mu Yanfeng did not stop walking. Old Madame Mu clutched her chest in pain. The nanny next to her hurriedly asked, Old Madam, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Old Mistress Mu said, Hey, look at this grandson of mine. Why did he take my only great-grandson with him when he left? Dao is the crown prince of the crown prince's household, how can he be left to suffer outside? The nanny comforted her, Old Madam, your health is not good. Please don't be sad. I can't bear to part with Dao, but Feng insists on taking him away. Old Madam, the crown prince has indeed gone overboard. But you can't be angry or sad because of this. Your health is more important. After all, the crown prince is the crown prince's biological son. When the crown prince is done with the matters of the imperial court, won't he naturally bring the crown prince back to live here? Old Madame Moo said with a worried face, I don't know how long the matters of the imperial court will take, but I'm afraid I won't live for long. How can that be? Old Madam, don't talk nonsense. You still have to live a long life. You will definitely be able to watch the crown prince grow up,